That, let's tune in now as we get set for the performance of this evening's national anthem performed by Carrie Wilson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The national anthem in Syracuse, and with that we are moments away from puck drop here tonight in Game 3 of the division semifinals. Bunch of the Monsters trying to win apiece. First, though, we've got a ceremonial puck drop. Let's tune back in.
Colonel Miley enlisted in the Air Force in 1989 as a target intelligence specialist. Over 36 years, he has built a distinguished career in intelligence, information warfare, and targeting operations supporting major missions, including Operations Provide Comfort, Northern Watch, Deliberate Force, Odyssey Dawn, Octave Quartz, Atlantic Resolve, Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, and Epic Fury. He now serves as the Deputy Wing Commander of the 174th Attack Wing in Syracuse, leading more than 1,400 airmen and civilians in training and operating the MQ-9 Reaper.
So the ceremonial puck drop tonight, getting the crowd rising to its feet. A standing ovation here in Syracuse as the captains Brennan Gaunce and Stephen Santini take the ceremonial puck drop. Okay, Crunch in their home blue jerseys with the blue pants, the white trim, white numbers, the white lightning bolt down the side of the pants, the blue helmets for the Crunch. They move from left to right in the first period. Monsters in their road white jerseys, black pants, blue and gold trim with blue numbers, white lettering with the blue name bars and the white helmets. They go from right to left in the first. Crunch won a pair of home games against the Monsters in the regular season. It was just over a month ago. 6-2 and 6-3 were the final scores. That, though, means nothing. A 1-1 series, Game 3, about to start. Gabriel Sturtz against Hunter McCown, opening faceoff at center ice, and we're underway in Game 3 between the Crunch and the Monsters. Here comes Cooper Flinton right off the draw. Shot is stopped by Sawchenko. Popped in and out of his catching glove. Sent around behind the net by Ethan Gauthier. Up the left wall, Jared Tenorti bangs it in behind the net. Bodies crash down low behind the goal. Ethan Gauthier pries it free. Sets up Miller, right point, walks, holds, and shoots wide right. Off the backboards, Flinton in after it. He jostles with Smozel, rimmed it back around to the right wing side. Roman Ashan cutting across. He gets bumped by Tommy Miller, but cleared to center ice. Good opening shift for the Crunch. 30 seconds in, no score. A puck is sent down ice, tipped in by the Crunch. Both teams will change as Sawchenko touches the puck and leaves it behind. Hard collision, Lucas Mercury on Corson Coolmans. The puck comes up ice. It is Syracuse territory. Coolmans is hobbled as he goes to the bench. Hunched over, going to the Cleveland bench as the Crunch have the puck. And Nick Abrazizi clears to Jacob Peltier. A three-point night in Game 2 for Jacob Peltier. Lead pass to center ice is all the way down. It's going to be an icing against the Crunch. Nick Abrazizi just couldn't get his stick on that lead feed. So D-zone faceoff coming up for the Crunch. A minute gone in our first period. Brought to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Check out the Wildcat on Milton Ave, the Home Depot Plaza in Camillus. Well, a heavy check by Lucas Mercury on Corson Coolmans, who's getting looked at the Cleveland bench right now by Tom Borden, the longtime athletic trainer. Face off left circle to the offensive zone for the Monsters. Mercury wins it for the Crunch. Ian Mitchell has it in the near corner, rips it to center ice, comes off the stick of Guillaume Richard and into Cleveland territory. The Monsters back to play it. 1:10 gone in the opening period. They break it out right to left. Zach Aston Reese, veteran forward, angles it into Syracuse territory. Max Groshev near corner, whacks it up the wall for Stephen Santini, loops it up and out, all the way down the ice, rolling toward the crease, played by Sawchenko, and he shoots it right back to center ice, off the stick of Reese. It's taken by the Crunch. Here is Dylan Duke. He gets hauled down by Zach Aston Reese, rims it around the right wing side, up to the right point, Santini. Right wing Tristan Allard. He's out here with Pekka and Duke in the right wing corner, twisting and turning. Shoved a couple of times, but it stays strong on the puck. It ends up in the right wing corner now for Duke. He gets hammered by Zach Aston Reese one more time. Up to the right point, Santini. Left point, Groshev. Feeds for Pekka. Left circle turns. And now we've got a penalty upcoming. A penalty, I think, on Tristan Allard for a high stick in the offensive zone. That's a killer for the Crunch. But another good offensive zone shift going. And it is a 2-minute high-sticking offensive zone penalty on Tristan Allard in an early power play for the Monsters. Well, the Crunch have had a great start the opening 2 minutes all over the Monsters in the offensive zone, but now it ends with an offensive zone penalty on Allard. And Cleveland's power play gets the first crack of Game 3. Cleveland 0 for 4 so far in this series. They had a lot of power plays in the second half of game number 2 in Cleveland, after neither team had a power play in Game 1. Whistle right before the drop of the puck. It's Gauntz on this face-off against Matthew Pekka. Pekka wins it. Santini clears it all the way down the ice. Sawchenko slows it up with the trapezoid, feeds to the far side. Mikhail Pudia has the puck. Mikhail Pudia from right to left to center ice, up with a red line. He had the only goal for the Monsters in Game 2. Flips to the right. Jack Williams spins it around on the near side for Gauntz. He lets it go to Del Bel Belluz. Center point, Morelli. Right wing, here is Williams. Pulls and feeds to the right goal line. Pudia back up the wall for Del Bel Belluz. Knocked away by Peltier. Gloved down by Tenorti, but the Monsters keep in. Pudia has space, bottom of the right circle. Angles it back for Del Bel Belluz. Peltier pressures. Now Del Bel Belluz has space. Passes right wing, back to the right point. Luca Morelli walks and feeds back to the right goal line. Back in front, a chance hammer just wide. Boy, there was a lot of room in the post, and he just missed the net. Dangerous chance for the Monsters. Puck stays in the zone for now. Peltier tries to clear and does. Back to center ice. The Monsters have control. 1:05 to go on the power play. Quick re-entry. Gauntz getting to the net. A shot save made by Halverson. Rebound taken by Tenorti. Tenorti turns, rolls it ahead, and Peltier chops it all the way down the ice. 3 minutes gone in the opening period. No score. Monsters on an early power play. 50 seconds to go. Out from right to left, Will Butcher. Feeds to the left wing for Owen Sillinger. Pumps it into Syracuse territory. Halverson plays it and rolls it to the near side for Ian Mitchell. Referee had to skip rope, and Mitchell clears. Right into the crease on Sawchenko. Slides it for Butcher. Pekka pressures. Now he peels off with a half a minute to go on the Monsters power play. Pekka with Abrazizi, Petronero, and Mitchell. Sillinger up ahead. Right wing pass. They gain the line, gets a return feed up to the blue line. Butcher, right wing, Aston Reese down to the right goal line. Sillinger back up top. Butcher steps and shoots. He missed the net. Rebound, where is it? It's at the side of the goal. Now in behind. Petronero fires it up ahead and out of the zone. 10 to go on the power play. Butcher, left wing pass. McCall, that looked offside. He looked like he had the puck over the blue line when he played it. Crunch, get the puck anyway and get it down the ice. That'll do it for the power play. Couple of good looks for the Monsters, but a big kill for the Crunch. It's now 4 minutes in, no score. Corson Kuhlman's back on the ice, okay, after that early hit by Lucas Mercury. Speeding to center, Jack Williams. He cuts ahead, had it knocked away. Taken by Spencer Kirsten. Pedals to center, angles it off the far boards. And it's grabbed by Sposel back in his own zone. Feed to center ice, picked off by Groshev, that it knocked off his stick. Checked by Williams, taken by Noah Steen in his AHL playoff debut in place of Mitchell Chafee. Chafee did not finish Game 2 and unavailable here for Game 3 for the Crunch as the puck comes to the near side. That's the only change in terms of a lineup for the Crunch between Games 2 and 3. A whistle for a hand pass against the Crunch. 4.5 minutes gone in our first period. And the face-off will be in Syracuse territory. Off the hand pass. Not often do you see a hand pass result in a defensive zone face-off. Face-off will be to the right of Brandon Halverson. Shots are 3-1 Crunch. Monsters had some looks, but didn't hit the net a ton on that power play. Luca Morelli had a very good chance from the high slot, and he just missed the far post. Del Bel Belluz against Mercury. Del Bel Belluz now ejected. Sillinger will take his place. No score early here in game number 3. And Mercury wins the face-off. Crunch have been Sharp to start the night on the draw as Tommy Miller elevates this one up and out. Trying to head it ahead was Jacob Peltier. Just couldn't reach it with his helmet as the puck is taken and dumped down the ice by the Monsters. And this will be a Cleveland icing. Stoppage comes with 15:14 left in our first period. Offensive zone faceoff for the Crunch. And they will elect for a right circle draw. They'll keep out Mercury, Peltier, and Abrazizi, the top line for the Crunch. Cleveland's top line also out there, Del Bell Blues with Sillinger and Pudia. Right circle face-off, Mercury against Del Bell Blues. And this time it is won back by the Monsters. Worked into the corner, now in behind the net. Up the far wall, Dyson Mayo gets a clear to Pudia. Up to center ice, comes over the Syracuse line. Ian Mitchell between the circles, backhands it ahead. Pudia keeps into the right point. Tries to knife his way toward the front of the goal, gets knocked away. Mitchell up the far wall for Petronero. He golfs into center ice. Peltier got checked. Puck comes back to center ice for Dyson Mayo. Near side pass, Del Bell Blues. Worked over, but got it in over the line. Here's a left side shot that ricochets off the stick of Petronero up out of play. 5:13 into the first. Good action so far, but no score between the Crunch and the Monsters. And a face-off will be in Syracuse territory. The Crunch had the good first 2 minutes. Then the penalty on Tristan Allard allowed the Monsters to settle in, get a power play opportunity. Did not cash in. Now it's kind of been back and forth ever since. Hunter McCann will take the offensive zone face-off against Gabriel Sturtz. And Sturtz gets waved out. And finally he does get out of the circle. It's going to be Ethan Gauthier to take his place. And McCown wins it cleanly. Left point Butcher, backhands it ahead. Grabbed by Santini. He'll just shoot it down the ice. Rolls up on its edge. Does it have enough for an icing? Yeah, icing against the Crunch. 5:22 into the first. And a face-off back in the defensive zone for the Crunch. And now Cleveland will change. Keep an eye on if the Crunch try to get some matchups here in this home portion of the series now. See, the home team has the second change, which gives them an advantage if they want to get any matchups. Unable to do that off the icing. The Monsters win the faceoff. Pinelli shoots toward the net. It got blocked up high by Sturtz. Near side rebound taken by Stephen Santini. Hammered by Gauntz. The Crunch have the puck. Grosjev in behind, finds Santini in the corner. Up the near wall for Gauthier. Try to shuffle it ahead. It bounced off a body to center ice. Butcher swats it back in the blue line down to the left wing for Pinelli. Couldn't quite corral at the near boards. Crunch in their own zone. Left wing Grosjev. Looks up ice, feeds up ice. It's deflected in by Sturtz right up the middle, right into the crease again for Sawchenko. And he leaves it in behind for Will Butcher. 6 minutes gone, first period. And the Crunch of the Monsters aren't goalless. Deepest into a game that we've gone without a goal so far in this. I know it's only 3 games, but in this series, the lead pass was onside. The Crunch bench was thinking maybe it was offside. Monsters working in toward the corner. Popped into the middle of the ice. Now there's Tristan Allard. Starting ahead left to right. Galloping to center ice. To the right wing. Had it knocked away though by Hudson Fashing. A steal by the Monsters. Good recovery though by the Crunch. It comes back to Tenorti. Backhands it for Dylan Duke at the blue line. Duke turns up ahead. Down on the right wing for Allard. Dumps it into the offensive zone. Sawchenko slows it up once again behind the net. Then he taps it free. And working to center ice. Here comes Kuhlman's. Right wing pass, Hudson Fashing. Scoops it back in. Kuhlman's directs it behind the goal. Ian Mitchell is there, gets checked. Kuhlman's gets a stick back on it as Pearson was in pursuit as well. But popping free to the near circle. Bodies collide, the Crunch have control, and they clear. Here's Petronero leading the rush to the Crunch. The defenseman over the line, trying to split his way through. Nearly did, but Kuhlman's fended him off. Up the left wall, Pekka tapped it back to a vacated point. And Noah Steen has to go back and collect it for the Crunch. Near side for Mitchell off the near wall. Angles it back behind for Noah Steen to the far boards. Up to the blue line, then Reese Newkirk gave it away, and a puck comes back down low into the far corner. Newkirk was trying to tap a pass to lead the breakout, and it didn't get quite where he wanted to. Although Crunch have to defend in their own zone. Their fourth line is out there. Pudia backhands, left point Richard. Walking to the middle, drops it back off. Here's Dyson Mayo, shoots it behind the net. It bounced out in front, and Halverson covers it at the near post with 12.5 to go in the first period. No score. Crunch of the Monsters. Game 3, North Division semifinals. We'll take a break. This is the Calder Cup playoffs on ESPN Radio. Hey fans, the AHL hits harder on FloHockey. Every game, every goal, every hit all season long. AHL TV on FloHockey gives you access to every AHL game. Watch your team, follow top prospects, and stay on top of all of the action on the ice. Subscribe now to stream it all live on AHL TV on FloHockey. So, face off of the offensive zone for the Monsters. No score here, early stages of Game 3. 50-50 face-off. The Monsters win it. Left point, Pudia steps, feeds across. Good stick high in the zone by Jacob Peltier. And the Crunch breaking out. Peltier finds Stephen Santini. Passes right wing. It's offside. Pass out of the zone as the Crunch, a couple of forwards are expecting it to get into the zone. Leads to the offside against the Crunch. So 20 left to the first period. And a face-off will be right along the Cleveland blue line. Shots are 4-1 Crunch. I think a couple of the shots have just been dump-ins that have ended up near the crease of Sawchenko, which may or may not be officially counted as a shot at this point. As the face-off is won by the Monsters, around to the near side for Richard. Throws it off the near glass. It took a good hop for the Monsters. Past Sturts and out of the zone for Bizzo. Bizzo flips in pursuit. Santini back on it though for the Crunch. Oh, he avoided a heavy check attempt of Roman Ashan. Ashan lost the steal out of his skates, though he's trying to hobble his way to the bench. He went in so hard and missed the check. Monsters, though, come out with a puck. Comes in behind the Crunch goal. Near side for Gauthier. Finds Sturts. Sturts backhands cross ice. Groshev scampers out of it center with speed over the line. Gets checked by Dyson Mayo. Walls him off of the left boards. In pursuit of the corner, Groshev and Gauthier. Pop free, down low, Gauthier turns and shoots, what a save by Sawchenko, just got a piece of it. It was point blank, left point flinted. There's a tackle along the far wall and a glove to the face as well on Sturts. Sturts tied up still, play continuing, puck to the right point. Here is Duke, right wing for Ian Mitchell as Bizzo and Sturts finally pry themselves apart. That is Riley Bizzo to a T. As the Monsters scamper to center, it is Luca Pinelli shoots and directed up out of play on a save made by Brandon Halverson. Well, Bizzo, we saw it in Game 2. Plays on the edge. He could potentially be penalty prone, but boy, he could be a real thorn in the side as well. And he and Sturts were tied up for quite a while over there at the left half wall of the offensive zone for the Crunch. Face-off will be at the right circle of the offensive zone for the Monsters. They win it. Morelli shoots it wide right. Near side for Allard. Takes control and throws it off the near glass to center ice. Great atmosphere here in Syracuse to start Game 3. Crunch of the Monsters. No score, 9 minutes in. Will Butcher has the puck and throws to center ice. Tipped ahead by Zach Aston Reese. Petronero turns it right back to center ice. Butcher checks with Dylan Duke. Aston Reese cross ice for Pinelli. Gets bumped by Petronero. Puck taken by Matthew Pekka. Clears to Allard. Cuts to his left. Couldn't quite get control of the puck, though. And the Monsters have it back. Will Butcher, lead pass, up for Zach Aston Reese. Over the line, down the near wall. Jared Tenorti gets shoved by Brendan Gaunce. Lucas Mercury supporting down low. Rolls it ahead for Nick Abrazizi. Twisted to the middle of the ice. Tommy Miller breaks it out. Cuts to the right. Dumps it in from the red line. Hard around to the left wall. Abrazizi in pursuit. It gets tipped past him out of the zone. Here come the Monsters on a counter. Up the ice, Jack Williams. Out wide left wing on his backhand now. Works it to the corner. Backhands it around to the right wing. And there is Fosel up the right wall. Turns and shoots it down low. Knocked away by Tenorti. Comes up out of the zone. Here comes Lucas Mercury rumbling to center ice. Left wing for Peltier. Swivels back along the left wall. He drops it off to Spencer Kirsten. He's in. He shoots and scores! Spencer Kirsten's first Calder Cup playoffs goal. It's 1-0 Crunch. Off the stick of Kirsten from the left circle, and he rips it off the bar and in. 1-0 Crunch just past the midway mark of the first period. A sensational shot. It was a counter by the Crunch. Peltier turned at the left wall, had space, dropped it off to the changing Kirsten, and he got to the left dot, and a perfect shot for the 1-0 lead. Well, Kirsten and Reese Newkirk, two guys who spent a good portion of this season with the Orlando Solar Bears, have come up large here down the stretch of the Crunch, both in the regular season and now in the playoffs as well. A goal for Kirsten, and it's 1-0 Crunch. 9:40 to play the first period now. The puck is back in Syracuse territory. far side for Grosjev. Up the middle, Kirsten swats it to center ice. Steen up over the left wing blue line. Here's Reese Newkirk. Spinning and rolls it into the left wing corner. Steen whips it around to the right. Waiting for it is Ian Mitchell at the right blue line. D for Petronero. Now for Steen. Had it knocked away as he tried to cut to the middle of the ice. And Mitchell is back on it in his own zone. 1-0 Crunch. 9:15 to go in the first. Peltier and Mercury the assists on the opening goal here of Game 3. Jacob Peltier, his 4th point of this series. And the puck is back in Cleveland territory. They break it out. Here comes Del Bel Belluz. Rumbles to center, cuts to his left, swings back to the left wall. Looking up high, and then feeds it down low to the left circle. Taken by Will Butcher, pumps the brakes, throws it down low, indirect off the right quarter boards to the right half wall for Del Bel Belluz. Now Morelli, he's got tons of room. Knocked away, but it comes back to Del Bel Belluz. Cuts back again, up high at the left blue line. Off his stick, but he keeps it alive and shoots. Right on target, a save made by Halverson. Butia was looking for a tip. 8:38 to go in the first. Spencer Kirsten opening the scoring in Game 3. It's 1-0 Crunch on ESPN Radio. First period brought to you by the Wildcat Sports Pump. Check out the Wildcat on Milton Avenue, Home Depot Plaza in Camillus. Lucas Savani with you this Friday night, Game 3 North Division semifinals. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're watching on tonight's social game of the week for AHL TV on FloHockey, hope you're enjoying the show so far. Crunch leading the Monsters 1-0 at a goal from Spencer Kirsten, his first career Calder Cup playoffs goal. As the Crunch win the faceoff in their own zone, clearing up the far side, Jacob Peltier across the middle. It's knocked out of the air by Tommy Miller, who clears to center. Gets it right back. Up ahead for Nick Abrazizi. Directs it into the offensive zone. Into the right wing corner, he and Will Butcher come together. 2-on-2, third man in for the Monsters. Now Peltier gets in there as well. It's a 3-on-3. Puck rolls around to the left wall. There's Jared Tenorti. Slings it back down low for Mercury. He's got room on a backhand. Rolls it to the crease, and it comes off the near post. It went through the legs on a backhand attempt by Abrazizi off the post. Peltier keeps and shoots, blocks. Rebound, backhanded. It pinballed wide off of Butcher. Oh my goodness, a couple of scrambles in the crease. And the puck stays out. It's out of the zone now. Roman a shot. I can't believe that one. Sawchenko's had some good breaks so far in this series, and add another one to his ledger now as Abrazizi rolled it through the legs of Sawchenko, and it came off the near post. Here comes Matthew Pekka, speeding left to right. Over the line for Dylan Duke. Back to Pekka. Works down the wall, trying to make a pass that got knocked away. Jammed back up ahead, taken by Pinelli, gets it to the line and out. Zach Aston Reese cutting right wing over the line. Max Grosjev gets a piece of the puck. Now it's knocked away by Tristan Allard. He swats it out of the zone. Nice effort. Poked further by Dylan Duke. Coolman's back to play it right in front of the crease. Now Dylan Duke checks him behind the net, but Luca Pinelli there to support. 7:15 to go in the first. And the Crunch of the 1-0 lead here on the Monsters. When it Gauntz over the line, Matthew Pekka knocked it away, but Gauntz forces it back down low. He takes over, spins it in front, picked off by Allard, knocked away and cleared by Santini to center ice. Dyson Mayo cross ice. Pinelli right back in on side. Steps down the wall, feeds for Gauntz off his leg. It comes back up ahead near side Grosjev. Pinelli is there, comes near the blue line now, knocked out of the air a couple of times. Looks like we're playing lacrosse. Taken by the Crunch, and finally spun ahead and cleared by Syracuse down into Cleveland territory. Richard and Steen converge along the boards. It's taken and dumped down the ice by the Monsters. This will turn into an icing with 6:32 to play in our first period. 1-0 Crunch on the goal by Spencer Kirsten. His first goal in 3 career AHL playoff games, but he's no he's not unfamiliar to playing playoff games at the pro level. A couple of nice long playoff runs with Orlando the last couple of years. 12 Kelly Cup playoffs goals in 23 games in the playoffs for Orlando. Clutch with a face-off off the draw. A shot goes high off the stick of Ethan Gauthier. Puck to the near wall. Justin Pearson lands a check. Gauthier takes the puck and shoots. It didn't get cleanly through off a couple of sticks. They back down behind the Cleveland net. 1-0 crunch. 6:20 to go in the first period. Poked up toward the near blue line. Ian Mitchell pinching. It's kept alive. Held out by Sturtz. Gloved free, then kicked across by Gauthier. Grabbed by Hudson Fashing, and he directs it down the ice. Another icing is whistled with 6:07 to go in the first period. The Crunch with a 1-0 lead and starting to insert themselves once again. Face-off will be in the offensive zone for the Crunch. They have the option. They've chosen a left circle face-off. Lucas Mercury, Jacob Peltier, and Nick Abrazizi. And a clean win right in on net, though, on Sawchenko. He had to make a save. Puck is lifted up and out and down. Bouncing potential icing here, but it's waved off as Justin Pearson got in there first in the right wing corner. He and Tommy Miller battling for the puck. Comes free. Nick Abrazizi gets bumped by Pearson as well at the near hash. A giveaway by the Crunch. Left wing, here's Will Butcher. Out wide, looking across the ice. Now tries to make a pass. It got knocked away. Nice play by Lucas Mercury. Mercury now tries to sidestep. Butcher, penalty upcoming on the Monsters. Puck comes out in front. Oh, they whistled it down. So an interference is the call. 5:38 to go in the first. I don't know if the Monsters ever had possession of that puck, but a power play pending for the Crunch. They have a 1-0 lead. Power play with a return on ESPN Radio. .538 left in the first period. The Crunch with a 1-0 lead on the Monsters. They're getting their first power play on the Crunch here in Game 3. 0 for 3 so far in this series. Both of their chances coming in Game 2. Left circle face-off. Pekka, Duke, Abrazizi, Gauthier, and Peltier on the power play. Interference, the call on Will Butcher, who went way out of his way to impede the rushing Lucas Mercury. Monsters win the face-off, though, to begin this penalty kill and shoot it down the ice. Brandon Halverson slows it up behind the net. 1-0 Crunch here in the first period as Jacob Peltier leads the rush to center. Hits the red line, skates ahead, looking back, feeds it across to nobody in particular, gets knocked away, and it's still available at the center circle. Kind of a weird play by the Crunch, and they still can't get the puck. Now they finally do in their own zone. It's Matthew Pekka. Pekka speeding to center. He gains the line, then whips it back out of the zone offside. Sloppy start to the power play for the Crunch with 5:06 to go in the first. The Monsters were kind of sagging, well, one guy high in the neutral zone to prevent the drop pass, which teams love to do now to get through the neutral ice and enter the offensive zone. That was initially on the turnover by Jacob Peltier, and the Crunch did eventually get it ahead, and then a cross-ice pass was kind of backwards a bit, came back to center ice. Off his face-off in the neutral zone, the Crunch win possession, and it's Jacob Peltier. 1:20 to go on this power play for the Crunch. Nick Abrazizi cuts ahead and looking up ice. He gains the blue line now. Double teamed, gets knocked away. The Monsters clear. Already 50 seconds gone on this power play for the Crunch, and no urgency yet on the man advantage. Up ahead for Nick Abrazizi, spins it across for Jacob Peltier. Peltier looks back and feeds it back for Matthew Pekka. Halfway through the man advantage, 1-0 Crunch here the first. Pekka weaves to the right, gains the line, and again they barely get it 2 feet over the blue line before giving it away, and it's down the ice. Boy, we have not seen a power play like this for the Crunch really all year. As the puck is back in Syracuse territory again, the Monsters doing an excellent job of clogging up the neutral zone. The Crunch have made a change now. Peltier still out there, drops it back off. Here's Sturtz. 40 to go on the power play. With speed, he gains the line and flips it in deep into the left wing corner. He rolls it in behind. The Monsters now scrum it there as well. It comes free. Taken by Pearson. He dives down to the ice. No penalty. Ricocheting puck into the crease. Now comes to the right wing for Lucas Mercury. Dropped it back off. Kirsten got checked by Zach Aston-Reese. And it's down the ice. 20 to go on the power play for the Crunch. 4 minutes left in the first period. Ian Mitchell retrieves the puck. One last rush for Syracuse. They have a 1-0 lead here in the first. Mitchell with speed. Left wing for Petronero. Back for Ian Mitchell. Oh, he gets walloped along the left wall. Hard check there. Now Ward pushing and shoving. The puck to the right point. Play continues. Here's Mitchell, right circle. Out to the line, Kirsten. Out of the box is Butcher. Left wing, Petronero. A shot got blocked. It was another penalty now coming on the Monsters. Crunch keep it alive. Delay call against Cleveland. Mitchell, left wing out wide for Petronero. Crunch get an extra attacker out there. The puck is dribbling to the corner. Tagged up. It'll be a trip against Cleveland with 3:20 to go in the first. Well, Crunch with a late surge on that power play. It was a hard check initially on Ian Mitchell. It was a legal check, but it was jostling between Sposel and, I beg your pardon, Dyson Mayo and Matteo Petronero. Play continued, and then as the penalty ended, a trip, and the Crunch will have another crack at a power play. We'll see if they can have a little bit more offensive zone time of this man advantage with 3:20 to play the first period. Special teams can be so valuable in the playoffs. So far, neither team has found success on the power play. This is the Crunch's second year of the game, fifth of the series. 3:20 to play the first, 1-0 Crunch. The five forwards come back out there. Pekka, Duke, Abruzzese, Gauthier, and Peltier. Pekka wins the faceoff. Peltier shoots. Save made by Sawchenko with the right arm, and he covers up way outside his crease. And another faceoff coming up in the offensive zone. It's Richard for a trip, which leads to the Crunch's second consecutive power play. Well, this power play started with a faceoff win. The last one did not, and that's what led to all of the issues initially for the Crunch. Another face-off win by Pekka. Left point, Peltier steps to the middle, holds, waits, pressured up high by Williams. Has to force it into the right corner for Abruzzese. Checked by Roman Ashon. Puck around to the left wall for Gauthier. Gauthier backhands to the corner for Pekka. Has room, sets up Peltier. Swings to the right, Abruzzese rolls toward the net, and it was knocked away. Slow rolling puck now fed to the middle of the ice. It's intercepted by Sposel. Breakout pass Williams. Here he comes short-handed. Jack Williams over the line. Out wide, a shot goes high and up out of play. Maybe getting a piece of it. Halverson with 2:48 to go in the first on a rising shot from Williams. Well, the Monsters very aggressive up high on Jacob Peltier, not giving him a ton of time to work. For good reason. The more time that Peltier has, the more likely he's going to make a very good play, as we've seen all year. 31 power play points for Jacob Peltier, who led the league with 77 points overall. He is off to make a change. D-zone face-off for the Crunch. 1:28 left in this power play. 1-0 Syracuse, 2:48 left in the first. And Gabriel Sturtz wins the D-zone face-off. Puck in behind the net for Ian Mitchell. Mitchell, Petronero, Sturtz, Kirsten, and Mercury, the second power play unit for the Crunch. Back in their own zone, here comes Spencer Kirsten, the goal scorer here to start game 3. Gains the line, feeds to the right for Mercury. Tipped it back to Mitchell. His pass got knocked away, out to center ice, as he got pressure near the blue line. Back in the D zone for the Crunch, up to the red line Sturtz, back to the blue line Mitchell. Back over the red, right wing rips it in. Hard around, gets past Sawchenko, left wall, tap free by Pudia, in behind Butcher. Knocked away by Mercury, right corner, he gets control, feeds for Kirsten. Dishes back, right point Mitchell. Hold to the skate, feeds to the right. Petronero right wall. Back to Mitchell, winds, doesn't shoot. 45 to go in the power play. Right wing Petronero, Mercury's in front. Petronero cuts and shoots, blocked by Butcher, and it ricochets out of the zone. Petronero regrouping with 35 to go in the power play. Back to center ice, Mercury. Fumbled the pocket, it's cleared down ice. Look out, here comes Hudson Fashing short-handed. Jacob Peltier, though, gets there to strip him of the puck and busts out of their zone left to right. With speed, with 25 to go on the power play. Left wing Abruzzese, he gave it away along the far wall, and Kuhlmans dumps it the length of the ice. Kuhlmans barking at Jacob Peltier as the puck is in Syracuse territory with the final 10 of this second consecutive Crunch power play. 1-0 Syracuse, 90 seconds to play here in the first period. Grocia drops it back off for Matthew Pekka. Scampers to center. Jets his way to the offensive zone. Power play is over. Peltier cross-ice pass off the left wall for Abrazizi. Pekka's down low, back toward the point. Grosjev has to chip it into the corner. Abrazizi swipes it behind Pekka, right corner. Right point, Santini. He's got room now as Peltier gets cross-checked from behind multiple times by Sposel, and then it gets put in a headlock for good measure as Sawchenko ended up making a save. Sposel got him a couple of times in the upper back, and then may have got one near the back of the helmet on Peltier. It would have been pretty flagrant if the officials were going to call a third consecutive penalty on the Monsters in the last few minutes. So 1:05 to go in the period. The Crunch have the 1-0 lead. So 2 consecutive power plays that don't really do a whole lot for the Crunch. Good penalty killing by the Monsters. Clean face-off win by Lucas Mercury. 2 clean, so we'll do it again. They'll put 1 more second back on the clock, back to 1:05. Right circle face-off, and we are good to go. Mercury against Del Bel Blues. Mercury now with Allard and Flinton after the back-to-back power plays kind of disrupt the lines for the Crunch here in the final minute of the period. The Monsters get it down into Syracuse territory. Jared Tenori pumps it around to the near wall. Butcher steals and shoots to the front. It got blocked. Rebound save made by Halverson on Sillinger. Monsters get the puck down low. Bel Blues rolls it to the front. It rolled very slowly to the front, and Halverson gobbles it up. With 45.8 seconds left in the frame. Crunch with the 1-0 lead. Spencer Kirsten, the lone goal scorer so far. Peltier and Mercury, the assists on the tally. Monsters have the offensive zone face-off. The Crunch will put out Pekka, Peltier, and Abrazizi. Again, the last 4 minutes on the power play for the Crunch disrupting their regular lines here. So I don't know. I don't think this is going to be the line the rest of the night for the Crunch, but I guess we'll see. Off the face-off, the Crunch clear to center ice. Pawed ahead by the Monsters, taken by Tommy Miller. Back to the red line. Here comes Pekka, looking cross ice. Whiffs on a pass. The Monsters counter, deflects it over the line. Halverson will gobble it up, gets a snow shower by Gauntz. And another D-zone face-off with 31 seconds to play in the first period. And Tommy Miller comes in with his glove like a squeegee, wiping off some of the residue from the shower on the mask of Brandon Halverson. Face off to Halvey's left. 1-0 Crunch. Shots are 9-4 Syracuse here in the first period. Matthew Pekka stays out here for the face-off now with Flinton and Peltier. Jack Williams, rookie, has had a very good first season, loses this face-off to Pekka, but the Crunch unable to clear. Grosjev kind of whiffed on a pass. Stays in at the right boards, back to the right point. Here's Dyson Mayo, he shoots, save made, there's a rebound of the slot, taken by the Crunch. Stick handling through traffic was Grosjev, and he races to center ice. Over the red line, gains the blue line, then made a dangerous pass to the middle of the ice. It got knocked away, but it dribbles to the left wall. Flinton with a hard check on Del Bel Blues. Final 5 seconds of the first period. Monsters clear to the line, knocked down by Peltier, and then fired down the ice, a skipping puck. And Halverson had to make a kind of a tricky save at the end. I don't know if it would have counted. It was right as the buzzer was sounding. But a weird last-second puck from the Cleveland zone. That was a hopping, skipping puck right into the pads of Brandon Halverson. Again, I don't know if it would actually have counted or not. It may have been a buzzer beater, may have been just after the zeros had hit the clock. Either way, it doesn't go in anyway, so don't have to worry about it. Entertaining first period, though, for the Crunch and the Monsters. Game 3, despite the layoff, with some great early action. And the Crunch get the snipe from Spencer Kirsten from the left face-off dot. Wires it over the shoulder of Sawchenko. And the Crunch will take the 1-0 lead into our first intermission. They're bringing out a step ladder on the ice, which is never a good sign. I don't know what they'd be working on. Bringing it out to the zone to the right. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens. All right, first intermission on the way now. The Crunch with the 1-0 lead. Here's Eddie McCarthy.
Thank you, Lucas. Hopefully it's not something wrong with the glass. We've had enough glass delays this year, but it doesn't look all too serious. But if you're the Crunch, you have to be pretty happy with the opening period. How about Spencer Kirsten? Always a bonus when you get scoring from a guy who's on your fourth line, which is the group that Kirsten draws in on tonight. But a guy who had 2 goals at the end of the regular season in the season finale against Belleville, which was probably one of the main reasons why he was in the lineup to begin with for games 1 and 2 against Cleveland. He was one of the guys who was on the bubble. We didn't know if he'd be in or if he'd be a scratch in the 2 games in Cleveland. Got into the lineup, didn't appear on the score sheet, but played well enough to continue being out there tonight. And he took that shot, and he looked like a 30-goal scorer. Just a terrific rip from the left circle, beautifully set up by Jacob Peltier, and it gave the Crunch a 1-0 lead. You feel pretty good about the Crunch's defensive performance, played well in front of Brandon Halverson. The only thing you can quibble about is the power play, because what coaches will tell you all the time, and Joel Bouchard has said the same thing to us this year, is, look, you don't necessarily have to score on the power play, but you do want to, at the bare minimum, draw momentum from your power play that you can carry into 5-on-5. And if anything, it looked like the opposite with the 2 back-to-back penalty kills for the Monsters, where the Crunch got nothing going, and they didn't get set up on the first one. It was a little bit better on the second one, but the Monsters drew more momentum from their penalty kill into the final minute or so of 5-on-5 in the first period than the Crunch did from their power play. So certainly something that the Crunch would like to get cleaned up. But Syracuse has got a 1-0 lead after the first period. Shots on goal 9-6 in Syracuse's favor. Those presented by Nave Law Firm. As we'll take a break here at Upstate Medical University Arena. And when we come back, Lucas Favale talks with Crunch defenseman Ian Mitchell, who played a major role in the first period for Syracuse. 1-0 Crunch on top of the Monsters here in Game 3. You're listening to the Calder Cup Playoffs on ESPN Radio.
Free Athletics, presented by Nye Automotive, brought to you by Apex, Atlas Fence, B&B Lumber, Burn Dairy, CNY Soft Wash and Pressure Washing, Fire Brothers, The Image Press, Little York Plantation, Maybes Moving and Storage, Rockbridge Investment Management, Potter Heating and Air Conditioning, Perrone Plumbing, each and every Saturday morning on ESPN Radio.
What do you want to drive?
Drive everything. Jeep, Chevy, drive a truck, Ram, Sierra, Silverado, drive Nissan, Kia, Mitsubishi, Mazda, Dodge, Hyundai, Volkswagen, drive luxury, Audi, Lincoln, Buick, Porsche, drive used, every make, every price, including certified.
So now, what do you want to drive?
Drive everything. Drivers Village.
Dean Henderson wrote an epic about the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers.
Men who designed dynasties, always thinking ahead, always thinking about the family fortunes.
Here at Mannion and Copani, we applaud that kind of thinking.
Because we've seen too much of not thinking ahead, not thinking about their family's fortunes.
There's a beautiful Victorian home in Cicero built in 1930 by industrious grandparents.
That home was lost to long-term care.
A grand Georgian home in Manlius with magnificent manicured grounds.
Lost to long-term care. And it doesn't have to be that way. Today, a family trust is a must.
I'm Terry.
I'm Tony. We've saved many family fortunes.
A quick call can solve it all. 478-3500.
Good morning, Mannion and Copani. I'm Jackie. Yes, Syracuse. Right here at 224 Harrison Street. Suite 306. Yes, MedicaidLaw.net. You're welcome.
For a one-of-a-kind shopping experience, visit Flintstone, Central New York's premier legal dispensary. With 5 convenient locations across Syracuse, Auburn, and Oswego, including our new superstore on State Fair Boulevard. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, our knowledgeable staff will help you find exactly what you need to elevate your experience. Flintstone offers a wide selection of premium, high-quality products from the brands you know and trust. Short on time, we've got you covered with free delivery for online orders over $100. Flintstone.com. Be in like Flynn at Flintstone. For use only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of reach of children and pets. Please consume responsibly.
This is Syracuse Crunch Hockey on ESPN Radio Syracuse.
Welcome back to our first intermission. Lucas Savati with Crunch defenseman Ian Mitchell. Ian, it's Game 3 of this division semifinal series, tied at a game apiece. First 2 games in Cleveland, you get the split. Just kind of the takeaway from last weekend.
Yeah, it's nice to get that split, come home for the next 3. So, I liked our game overall on the trip. And, hopefully are excited to play in front of our fans tonight.
Yeah, we know it's never an easy place to go into Cleveland and get, 1 win or 2 wins. You get the 1 win. Like, what did you like about your game as a group specifically over those 2 games?
Yeah, I think we were maybe a little nervous and tense in the first game, and that showed in the first to kind of get behind the 8 ball like that. But I think for maybe the final 5 periods of that trip, I think we really imposed our will on them, and especially in the start of game 2 to get that lead. So I liked our forecheck, and I think we could clean up our breakouts a little bit more tonight.
Yeah, head coach Joel Bouchard said he liked the way the group as a whole handled the moment of those 2 games. Like you said, maybe a little tentative start and they took advantage, but all in all, especially with a lot of guys playing their first couple of playoff games, like it seemed like as a group you guys handled it well.
Yeah, I think so. The playoffs are a whole different animal than the regular season, so it takes a little bit to adjust. So now we've seen what it's like, and I think we're going to hit the ground running here with these home games.
Yeah, like what is the difference between regular season and playoff hockey? Clearly the intensity level rises. Obviously there's a lot more at stake. Like, how would you describe the difference?
Yeah, more physical. Everyone's finishing every hit, and just every little play means that much more. It doesn't matter if it's, I don't know, at the end of a period or what. Just any play can change the course of a game and then ultimately the series. So it's that attention to detail that really ramps up as well.
So you're coming off the 4-1 win in game 2. Like you said, you get the quick start. You get 4 goals in the first period. What did you guys do well in that game to get the lead and then hold on to the lead as they push back pretty good too?
Yeah, I think we really attacked the game to start. That was something that Bouch and the coaching staff has really emphasized with us, and I think we did a great job of that in game 2. And then for the rest of the game, when you're up, when you have that big of an early lead, it's sometimes hard to continue that attack mindset. So I think we maybe sat back a little bit, but I think we did a good job of not bleeding chances too much, even though they had a lot of zone time.
Yeah, they never got close. Like, it was a 4-1 game. They did have some opportunities, but nothing overly dangerous. Like, how important was that to keep them pretty, at arm's length, even though they were pushing back pretty good?
Yeah, I think that's important. You don't want to give them too much life in a game when you get their fans back involved. So that was important not to I guess let them get too close. And also for us, knowing how to close out games is important in the playoffs.
It's one of those weird series where there's a long layoff between games here, between 2 and 3. Like, what's kind of been the approach this week as you try to keep that engagement with the series like this?
Yeah, I think practices have been really important in keeping that intensity level high, that attention to detail. If you let off the gas for a second, then you're not going to be ready to play. So I think we've done a good job this week in staying locked in.
How excited are you guys to now have the rest of the series, whether it's 2 or 3 games here at home, and a chance to play in front of these home fans in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's exciting. Playing at home in the playoffs is one of the best things about being a hockey player. You feel that energy, that intensity. And, I can't wait to see what Syracuse is going to bring tonight.
It's, Cleveland's a team that you've seen a lot, but more than anyone else on the Crunch this year. You saw them a bunch with Grand Rapids and obviously here with the Crunch as well. Like, what challenges on the other side do they present, and what did you see in the first 2 games from them?
Yeah, their top lines are dynamic. They're good on the power play, and they're good on breakouts. They transition really well. So those are areas that we've keyed on, and we're going to stay out of the box. That's obviously very important in playoff hockey. Special teams can win and lose you games, so that's something that we'll be focused on in these next few games at home.
Game 3 tonight. What do you want to see from the Crunch to get a win here today?
Yeah, I think that attack mindset is going to be huge, coming out right from the puck drop to impose our will on them, and just having purpose and details out there. That's something that the coaching staff has really harped on. So I think our group is in a good spot heading into tonight.
Ian Mitchell, thanks for the time. Good luck here tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Lucas.
Back with more in a moment on ESPN Radio.
Smart Buyer.
Intermission report from Upstate Medical University Arena. Game 3 of this North Division semifinal series between the Crunch and the Cleveland Monsters. Syracuse, a 1-0 lead on Cleveland after 20 minutes of play. You're always hoping when the series shifts back to your home rink for the first time, they can really capitalize on some of that momentum and the energy that's in the building. Unfortunately, the Crunch didn't really get a chance to do that. Tristan Allard took a high sticking penalty about 1:50 into the game, which took the air out of this building. However, the Crunch did have a successful penalty kill. And then we kind of had a little bit of a feeling out process, maybe the long layoff in between games 2 and 3 coming into play. Things started to pick up, though, midway through the first period. Ethan Gauthier got a great look in front of the net for Syracuse. Really good save by Zach Sawchenko. Riley Bezo continued to stir the pot for Cleveland. But about halfway through the first period, just about at the halfway point of period 1, a fourth liner for the Crunch opened the scoring. Spencer Kirk crossbar and down, and it got everybody here at Upstate Medical Arena to their feet.
Comes up out of the zone. Here comes Lucas Mercury rumbling to center ice. Left wing for Peltier. Swivels back along the left wall. He drops it off to Spencer Kirsten. He's in. He shoots and scores! Spencer Kirsten's first Calder Cup playoffs goal. It's 1-0 Crunch. 9:52 left in the first period.
Nothing like the sound of that playoff crowd pop. Good thing Lucas Favali was right on top of the call. Otherwise, I think our fans here in Syracuse might just have drowned him out, because it got very loud in here when Kirsten went crossbar and down. Great play by Jacob Peltier on the setup as well, and Kirsten going blocker side high on Sawchenko. Nick Abrazizi hit the post 2 minutes later. Then with about 5.5 to go in the period, the Crunch had 2 power plays back-to-back, but as we touched on when we first got on the air here in our first intermission report, they really didn't go very well. Syracuse didn't even get set up on the first one. The second one was marginally better, but still nowhere near the level of crispness we're used to seeing from the Crunch. So the hope is, if they get another man advantage chance in the second, that will continue. The other thing that we're seeing, and we saw this a little bit in Cleveland too, is there's a clear emphasis from the Monsters to make sure that they're finishing their checks, even if it's a little bit after the whistle, on Jacob Peltier. They're really going after 22 in blue, so something the Crunch are going to have to keep an eye on with their top scorer. 1-0 Crunch after the first period. That's going to do it for our first period intermission report. We'll take a break. When we come back, Lucas Favali's got your second period action. 1-0 lead for Syracuse. You're listening to the Calder Cup playoffs on ESPN Radio.
The freedom of right.
Second period brought to you by Kitty Drugs. Want to save more in 2026? Swap your brand name products for Kitty Drugs' trusted store brands like Top Care, Simply Done, and Life Every Day to keep more money in your pocket. Same quality, better value every day. Kitty Drugs, employee owned, locally committed since 1903, and the official drugstore of the Crunch. Teams flip ends for the second period. The Crunch from right to left, and the Monsters from left to right. Flinton and Bezo jostling a bit. The near side of the center ice face-off circle. Sturts against McCall. The puck has dropped and the second period begins. The Crunch have the 1-0 lead. On a dump and look out. Halverson fell down, doesn't know where the puck is. The Monsters score. Unbelievable. The puck, I think, was out of play anyway, but it ends up in the back of the net, and the Monsters have tied the game 8 seconds into the period. It's Bezo who will get the goal. The puck looked like it hit the netting in the right corner. We'll see if any of the other three officials saw it, but that was a puck that was clearly out of play. Right now it's a goal. The officials are now going to come together and see if any of the other three had their eyes open to see that puck hit the right corner netting. Well, right now 2 referees and 1 linesperson discussing. I mean, from our vantage point, it's not a perfect angle from here, but it certainly looked like it hit the netting. Now, Brandon Halverson fell down because the puck changed direction. After it hit the netting, came to the front, got through his legs. He had it very briefly between his legs and lost it again, and it got stuffed into the net. I don't know what it is between the Crunch and the Monsters, but boy, the Crunch have given up some weird goals over the years against the Monsters, both home and on the road. Well, the conversation continues. I mean, the fact that it is taking this long tells you that none of the officials probably saw that it was likely out of play. So we'll see as the officials continue to talk. We're 8 seconds into the period, and a potential tying goal right off the hop for the Monsters. A face-off, a dump in, a puck that appeared to hit the netting that didn't get whistled down and then ended up in the back of the net after Brandon Halverson lost his footing, fell down. And they're going to call it a goal. So it's a 1-1 game. So 8 seconds into the second period. We're going to see a replay here. I think it hit the referee, which is why he couldn't see where the puck was. And then, well, we can't see it on that vantage point. But just a brutal start to the period. So the Monsters have gotten a gimme, and it's a 1-1 game. They've scored, well, they had 3 goals in game 1. One of them was a gift. They've scored 5 goals in the series. 2 of them are now gifts. And the fans disagree. They don't like it. And all the good juju the Crunch had going after the first, gone 8 seconds into the second period as Riley Bezo gets the goal to tie the game at 1. Crunch have the puck in their own zone. All right, so we'll see how the teams respond. Out of their zone, right to left as Cooper Flinton shoots it in. That hits the netting, and they whistle it down. And the Bronx cheer for the officials. So it's a 1-1 tie, opening minute of the second period. Bezo gets his 4th career playoff goal. He had 3 goals in last year's Eastern Conference Finals for the Charlotte Checkers against the Laval Rocket. And 2 goals in one of those games, 3 goals in the series. Charlotte, of course, swept Laval on their way to the Calder Cup Finals before they lost to Abbotsford. Off this face-off in the neutral zone. So 1-1 game, goals from Kirsten and now Bezo. Bezo 8 seconds into the second period. Off the face-off, puck comes into the offensive zone for the Crunch. Pekka twists up to the point. Mitchell shoots. It got deflected wide right. Back toward the right circle. Back to Mitchell again. He pumps, works down the right wall. I mean, just thinks of some of the bounces in this series. Left wall here is Petronero down the boards. Throws it in behind for Duke. Out of the right wing corner now. He gets knocked down by Dyson Mayo. Duke is slow to get up. He got hit up high, holding his face. Puck to the right point. Mitchell keeps it. Duke stays in the play. Gets into the right circle. He gets dragged out again. That time they do call a penalty. Cross check. Power play for the Crunch. Richard is annoyed for the Monsters. So the Crunch are going to have an opportunity to respond in a 1-1 game. 1:03 into the second period. Again, going back to some of the bounces, though, the Crunch had a puck that got 75% over the line in game 1 that just did not go in. And they had a weird puck off the post here in the first period. They got through the legs of Sawchenko. Didn't go in. Monsters have had the benefit of the bounces so far this series. So the Crunch get a power play. It's their 3rd consecutive man advantage. 0 for 2. This feels like an important one after the air was let out a bit on the early goal to start this second period. Pekka left circle face-off for the Crunch. And Pekka gets waved out. So Nick Abruzzese will step in. 1-1 game crunch of the Monsters, early stages of the second period of game 3. And the faceoff is won back behind the Cleveland net, taken by Roman Ajan, and he fires it down the ice, knocked out of the air by Jacob Peltier. Jack Williams all over him, played across the ice to Matthew Pekka. Pekka swipes it further behind the goal, and Peltier is there. Williams drifting back out of the neutral zone as Peltier turns up ice, swings to the left, and passes back to the right. Crunch unable to enter the zone yet. Now they do. Here comes Pekka busting in on net. Pekka backhand, and a save made by Sawchenko. Turned into a partial break for Matthew Pekka. Finally, the seas parted at the blue line for the Crunch. They've had trouble entering the zone of the power play so far tonight. That one they got in cleanly, and a partial breakaway from the top of the circles in for Matthew Pekka. He went forehand, backhand, and Sawchenko got it up high with his chest and swallowed it up. So face-off coming up to his left. Pekka will stay there for the right circle face-off with Duke, Abruzzese, Gauthier, and Peltier. 1-1 tie. Minute and a half into our second period. Crunch control. Right circle, Abruzzese. Back to the center point, Peltier. Long wrister deflected, and a save made by Sawchenko. Dylan Duke with a tip on that one. There's a piece of equipment that ends up down to the ice as well. Not sure what that was. If it was one of the shot blockers that gets attached to the skates. Gets retrieved and handed off to the Crunch bench. Face off in the left circle this time for the Crunch. 1:25 left on this power play. Richard in the box for the second time of this game. Just level at 1 apiece after the goal 8 seconds into the period by Riley Bezo. Matthew Pekka on the face-off for the Crunch. Justin Pearson for the Monsters. Clean win back. Bigger partner Williams for the Monsters. Clean win back. Peltier up for Pekka. He got pressured. It's knocked away. Pudia. Here he comes. Short-handed. Mikhail Pudia shoots. Save made with a right pad by Halverson. Nick Abruzzese gets it up to the line. It's whipped cross ice. Peltier. He's got a step. Here comes Peltier. Shoots. Save. Rebound. Stopped as well. 2 big saves by Sawchenko. And the puck is shot down the ice. Oh, man, both goaltenders with big saves. Short-handed by Halverson, then 2 saves by Sawchenko, who is having another really strong game against the Crunch. 2:10 got in our second period, down to 45 to go on the power play. Crunch from right to left. A 1-1 game here between the Crunch and the Monsters. Rimmed in by Spencer Kirsten, the second unit out there for the Crunch. Puck in the left wing corner. Matthew Pekka is still out there, always poking and prodding in the left wing corner. 3-on-3. Battle for possession. Who's going to get it? Scrum continues. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Valuable man advantage time milking away as the puck is tied up along the wall. Svozil rims. Right wing Mercury keeps it in. Mercury, center point Mitchell. Backhand pass, left wing Petronero. He pulls and shoots. Blocked by Dyson Mayo. Another penalty upcoming on the Monsters. Oh my goodness. It'll be a brief 5-on-3 for the Crunch now. Here we go again. Scrum forming in the far corner. Well, the Crunch, I mean, they have to take advantage of some of these penalties here against the Monsters. So it's Dyson Mayo who goes to the box this time. And he goes in for a cross check. I mean, the Crunch have had now 4 power plays. This will be a brief 5-on-3, which will start with an important face-off for the Crunch. And team deciding where they want this face-off. It'll be a left circle draw. So, huge face-off here for the Crunch on this 5-on-3 advantage. Well, we've seen these games before, and the more power plays you get, at some point it's going to flip, and if you don't take advantage, you get more and more concerned. See the Crunch can cash in now. Left circle face-off, Williams against Pekka. 16 seconds to 5-on-3 time. Pekka gets thrown out. So now Nick Abruzzese has to come in on what is a really critical face-off, at least for this 5-on-3. The Crunch want to strike quickly. And Williams wins it cleanly. Butcher plays it behind the net. Koolmans has tons of time and space, and he clears. Well, I'll do it basically for the 5-on-3. Will do it now for the 5-on-3 as Peltier takes the puck. Back to a 5-on-4 power play in 3 seconds. Peltier up the ice. Left wing Abruzzese gains the line, returns it. Peltier feeds across. Great stick in the lane by Williams. Puck is clear to the line, but kept by Pekka. Dribbles to the middle of the ice and dumped down into Syracuse territory again. Well, Williams is on it first. Boy, the Monsters have been the better team shorthanded in this game compared to the Crunch power play. They've been skating more, it seems like, than the Crunch on the power play here so far tonight. They've just been quicker to pucks. Crunch have control. Peltier swings it back for Nick Abruzzese. We have not said that very often on this Crunch power play this year. Dumped in by Abruzzese, hard around, slowed up though by Sawchenko. Goes high around the far glass, and it's again chopped ahead and out to the blue line, but didn't get out of the zone. Abruzzese now left point. Feeds back to Peltier. He gets pressured up high quickly. Tipped back to the right point. Peltier keeps in. Another dangerous pass knocked away. Here comes Roman Ashad. Here he comes shorthanded. Ashad left wing. He drags, backhands it wide. Rebound play back in front. Boy, Ashad got chopped. He's looking for a penalty, and the Crunch give the puck away again. This is just sluggish stuff on the power play by the Crunch. No urgency at all on the power play of the game. The Monsters have adjusted their penalty kill between games. They've been uber aggressive high in the zone, and the Crunch have not had an answer yet. Here comes Ian Mitchell, down to the final 30 seconds of the power play. Mitchell, right to left. They gain the line. Lucas Mercury. Kirsten sends it behind the net. Near side Svozil. Gets knocked away into the near wall. Battle for control. Petronero now for Mercury. Backhands around to the right. Spencer Kirsten waiting it high in the zone. He sidesteps Zach Aston Reese. Bumps it back for Mitchell. 15 to go on the power play. A long wrister got knifed away by Richard. Kirsten lays it back behind the net. Hard around to the left wall now for Sturtz. Left point. Holds. Slides it left circle for Kirsten. Kirsten looking back toward the point. Has control. Power play over. Left goal line Mercury. In tight a save. And then he got tripped up. Loose puck. Where is it? It goes up out of play. And Kirsten got taken down by Justin Pearson. More hacking and whacking. Kirsten he's in some distress there down on the ice. And look out, Petronero comes up high with a glove. Kirsten finally gets back to his skates. 5 minutes gone just about here in our second period. Well, Cleveland is controlling this game special teams wise. They have won the special teams battle so far here in Game 3. We're only 5 minutes into the second period, so a lot of time for that to change. But their penalty kill is dictating play on the Crunch power plays. The face-off out of the neutral zone. Zozel came down on Lucas Mercury. They're showing the replay now. He got chopped down a bit and then kind of more aggressively they needed to, falling down on Mercury to lean on him a bit. All right, so the Crunch now 0 for 4. They've had the last 4 power plays, and they have nothing to show for it, including that brief 5-on-3. It's a 1-1 game after the early goal by Bezo here to start the second period. We'll see if, as we said, power plays start to flip around a bit at some point in this game, with the Crunch getting 4 straight. It does seem they wave off an icing here. Wow, man. Puck in behind the net. Tommy Miller and Jared Tenorti, puck back to the line. Luca Morelli holds and shoots, blocked by Cooper Flinton. It bounces out of the zone. Good block by him and down into Cleveland territory. Monsters had a breakout pass to center. 5.5 minutes gone in our second period. The game tied at 1. Game 3, the series tied at a win apiece. This best of 5 North Division semifinals. Puck to the line, held by Gauss, turns and fires. Fought off by Halverson in front. Sillinger looking for the tip, and Flinton gets it to center. Swatted in over the line by Tristan Allard. Approaching 6 minutes gone in our second period. And the score tied at 1. A lead pass to center ice. Bezo gets tangled up by Groshev. Steen try to skate through the neutral zone. It gets knocked away. Right wing now for Ethan Gauthier. Drags it in. Here's Newkirk. Back to Gauthier. He feeds down low. Tipped wide by Steen at the left post. And the Monsters get the puck. And it's forced out to center by Bezo. Dumps it in. Groshev spins away from the check, but it ricocheted down into Syracuse territory off of Pinelli. So the Crunch have to retrieve it now. 6:15 gone in our second period. The game tied 1-1. Here comes Noah Steen, right to left. Left wing Newkirk. At the red line, shuffles it in. It's checked by Kuhlmans. Sawchenko leaves it there behind the goal for Svozil. Throws it off the near glass and down the ice. It comes into Syracuse territory. It will be an icing no, waved off at the last moment. Mitchell reverses near side for Petronero. Up the wall for Newkirk. Newkirk lost it. Kuhlman steals into the middle. A shot. Great save by Halverson on the count. On a turnover again near the Crunch blue line. Now Luca Pinelli keeps it alive. Up to the left point. Dropped it off his shot. That was blocked in front of the goal. Halverson finding the puck. It's taken by Dylan Duke up the near wall for Allard. He skates to center. Had it knocked away in the neutral zone again. The Crunch have to get this one in deep. They cannot do so. It's another turnover. Coleman's right back in. Shoots it down low behind the net. Coleman's in pursuit against Matteo Petronero. Now Tristan Allard in behind for Ian Mitchell. Just over 7 minutes gone in our second period. The game tied at 1. Duke gets walloped again by Dyson Mayo, right in the numbers. Puck's taken as a ricocheting stick comes down behind the net. Puck comes behind the goal as well. Fashing left point, out of the left circle. A return pass off his stick, Crunch in some trouble in their own zone. Fashing gets a steal, rolls it into the crease. It's still loose. Halverson's got it as he sprawls out on his belly. Now we've got gloves, a helmet comes off, a tackle along the left side. Another helmet gets ripped off. And the officials stepping in. Well, didn't have a ton of this in the first period, but tempers starting to rise after they were at peak level in game 2. A calm-ish start to game 3. But here we go in the second period. Early goal by the Monsters off a bad bounce. So 1-1 tie with 12.5 to go in the second on ESPN Radio. .12.5 to go here in our second period. The Crunch and the Monsters are tied 1-1. Goals by Spencer Kirsten and Riley Bezo. So face-off will be in the offensive zone for the Monsters. Spencer Kirsten left to enter the dressing room. Crunch forward short at the moment. Remember, at the end of that sequence, right at the end of a power play, he got taken down awkwardly as this puck is at the Crunch blue line and sent down the ice by Jacob Peltier right into the crease. Sawchenko dishes right back up the middle out to center ice. Center circle Tenorti, left wing Peltier. Cross ice, right wing Tommy Miller over the right blue line. Rolls it in behind the net. Sawchenko slows it up. He's been very active playing the puck here tonight. Look at a puck comes into his crease, though knocked away. Peltier has it, turns, feeds Tenorti. Mercury got toppled in front of the net, and the Monsters clear to center ice. Del Bell Belouz gains the line. Pudio, nice pass left wing. A Richard shot score. Guillaume Richard off the rush, and the Monsters take the lead. 8:04 into the second period. Terrific cross-ice pass. And Guillaume Richard snipes it home, and the Monsters take their first lead of Game 3. It's 2-1. 11:56 to go here in the second period. Cleveland has its second goal of the frame, and it comes right off the rush. Great pass cross-ice by Pudia. Just a little touch pass, but with a lot of zip to it. He got it all the way through the zone. Right to Richard, who was wide open at the left circle, and he whips it past the catching glove of Halverson. So Cleveland with a pair of goals in the period, and they have taken advantage of the early bounce to start the period. Their penalty kill has been brilliant, and this puck is down ice for the icing against the Monsters, and now they lead with a 2-1 advantage. Pudia and Del Bell Belouz get the assists. Now the Crunch have done a lot of good things tonight, but as Eddie alluded to in our intermission, and as we've heard throughout the course of the year, you want some momentum out of your power plays. The Crunch have not had any momentum following their power plays, and the four of them have been in pretty rapid fire. Too late in the first, too early in the second. Crunch with a face-off, right point, Santini shoots, save. There's a rebound, it ends up in the right corner. Pekka leans on Will Butcher, right point, Santini again to the net, another save. Rebound Allard, Gets a stick on it, forces it to the left corner. Gets checked by Zach Aston-Reese. Puck up the near wall, and it's sent up toward the blue line, tapped out to center ice. Here comes Will Butcher, slides it ahead. Aston-Reese drops it back off as shot goes off the side of the goal. Rebound pitchforked into the near corner for Cooper Flinton. Gets checked. Santini has the puck. Far side for Max Groshev. He throws it to center ice. No one there. It's turned back ahead, but Flinton, he gets taken down on another penalty upcoming on the Monsters. A trip against Bezo and a 5th straight Crunch power play. Well, we'll see if this is the one that can get them going again with 11-12 left in the second period. Crunch trailing 2-1. And Syracuse power play on the way. They're 0 for 4 in the game. Flinton gets his skates taken right out from underneath him. Oh, man, that was a scary one, too. He went skates first into the boards. Keep an eye on that. He's at the bench. And that could have been very dangerous for him. All right, another Crunch power play. Left circle face-off. Matthew Pekka will try again against Jack Williams, who is having a great penalty kill night. It's a 50-50, and Williams clears cross ice. Roman a shot. Here he comes shorthanded. In over the line, a shot goes wide. Bring out of the near wall. It's up to center ice. Matthew Pekka will slowly start ahead. The Crunches don't seem to have any confidence on the power play, and another turnover. Back in the zone, here's Ian Mitchell, who's on this power play now for the Crunch. Peltier up over the line. Right wing for Abrazizi. And again, pressured high, lost the puck, and it's cleared. Down into Syracuse territory. Halverson will play it behind the net. Fires it up to center ice, or Dylan Duke. Cuts up the middle. Then he bobbles the puck. It's knocked away, and here comes another counter. Justin Pearson over the line. He shoots it. Ricochets wide. Near side for Nick Abrazizi into the near corner. The Crunch, who had a top 5 power play all season, their best power play percentage in team history, and we have not seen it at all tonight. And the Crunch, they put Tommy Miller out of the power play. Nothing against Tommy Miller, but I don't think he's seen a minute of power play time all year. Puck is sent into the offensive zone, taken and dumped right back down the ice. Brandon Halverson will play it behind the net halfway through regulation. The Monsters with a 2-1 lead, and 50 seconds to go on this power play. Matteo Petronero. Fans trying to get the Crunch back going again. Gauthier for Sturtz. He gains the line, flips it in. Down the left wing. Sturtz rims it around to the right. Miller at the right point. He's on the ice in place of Spencer Kirsten. A long shot, tipped, save, rebound taken and cleared ahead by the Monsters. It's fought off by Sawchenko. Kirsten, who is ill in the dressing room, unavailable for this power play, which is why Tommy Miller is out there. As Miller turns up ahead with 20 to go on the man advantage. Miller through center. He carries right into the offensive zone. Gets it off the left wall. Gets tied up. The Monsters take the puck. And Guillaume Richard will send it the length of the ice. Halverson plays it. Power play is down to the final 5 seconds. Crunch 0 for 5 on the power play. And fans not all that pleased with the way it's shown so far tonight. Crunch have control. Stephen Santini spins away from the check attempt to Bezo. Finds Grosjean. Backhand for Santini. Deflects it in off the right corner glass. Sawchenko goes high around to the right side. It got knocked down. Banged ahead by Cleveland. They get it up to the line. Gauntz taps it back, and the Monsters get it to center. Here comes Gauntz, left to right. 8:50 to go in the second period. And over the line, Grosjean with a hard check on Gauntz. Gauntz and Grosjean. Grosjean pulls the puck free and dumps to center ice. Comes to Santini. Over the red line, backhands it ahead. Morelli picks it off just inside the Cleveland zone. They gave it away at center ice. Newkirk weaves to the left. Gets whacked by McCown. Rolls it ahead. Sawchenko again. Well, he has been so active playing the puck. It's been a big reason for the Monsters defensively here in this game. As Tenori takes down McCown. And the Crunch have control. 8:20 to go. Lead pass Allard. He's in over the line. Tristan Allard spins, looks. Allard turns and trying to get it to the net. Blocks by Will Butcher. He tried to thread the needle. And Butcher got a stick on it. Cleveland breaks it out left to right. 8:05 to go in the second period. Dumped into the Crunch zone. Mitchell up the near side. It's thrown up to the blue line by Jared Tenori. Peltier turns, finds Mitchell. Lead pass Abrazizi. He cuts in and shoots. That one goes high. Bangs off the glass. A monster spilling. That was Kuhlman's. Cleveland getting control, then losing it. Here's Mercury on a backhand save made. Rebound moved up a far wall, and the Monsters trying to clear. Knocked down by Mercury. Gloved down by Sillinger. And Sillinger will slow it up for Corson Kuhlman's. 7:35 to go in the second period. An antsy crowd for the Crunch. They had a 1-0 lead after the first. A missed puck out of play that did not get whistled. We've seen the replay. It was very clearly in the netting. It didn't get called, and the Monsters scored 8 seconds into the period. They have a 2-1 lead now. Here comes Coolmans with room. He shoots, and a right skate save made by Halverson. Puck is clear to center ice. Cooper Flinton gets it in deep for the Crunch. Sawchenko again out to play it behind his net. Far side for Pinelli. He makes a pass to Dyson Mayo, juggled it out of the zone. Sent ahead by Pekka, turned over though. The Crunch now have to set things back up as the Monsters have control. Near side Dyson Mayo through the neutral zone. He scoops it into the seats. And that'll be a puck out of play. And 6:53 to go in our second period. The Monsters 2, the Crunch 1. The Crunch trailing for the first time in Game 3. We'll take a break on ESPN Radio. Second period brought to you by Kinney Drugs. Does your health plan include OTC benefits? Just check your benefits card for the S3, Nations Benefits, U-Card, or OTC Network logo. Kinney now takes the ball. These funds can pay for prescriptions and OTC medications like vitamins, cough and cold, allergy, and more. Save money, use your wellness benefits card at Kinney. Kinney Drugs, employee-owned, locally committed since 1903, and the official drugstore of the Crunch. Monsters 2, Syracuse 1. Shots are 19-13 Crunch. And at center ice, Newkirk against Pearson. Nope, sorry, I've said that a couple of times. It's Williams. And off the face-off, comes to the near wall. It's zipped into the Cleveland offensive zone. Left wall, there's Justin Pearson, sends it behind the net. Hudson Fasching leans on the puck. Left wing now for Williams, up to the left point. Long shot, save made. There's a rebound in front. It's a shot that got blocked that time by Groshev off the stick of Fasching. Near side Pearson. Slide has been effective both on the penalty kill and now 5-on-5 centering pass. Fasching had it knocked away. A line breaks out of the zone for the Crunch. Left wing over the line. He gets leaned on by Dyson Mayo. Guillaume Richard, who has the tie-breaking goal, gave it away right wing for Tenorti. Shot toward the net, ricochets just wide. Collision in front of the goal. Where's the puck? It's in the crease and covered up by Sawchenko. Now gloves coming up high again. Steen and Williams. Allard and a monster. It's Newkirk and Richard. The officials will step in. 6:13 left in our second period. And the Crunch trailing by a goal. This place is ready to explode, though, if the Crunch can break through again. They have a 1-0 lead after the first. The Monsters with 2 goals in the second period. Riley Bezo, as we've talked about, the bad bounce, missed netting goal. 8 seconds into the period, and then Richard off a great play off the rush, firing a shot from the left circle to make it 2-1. That goal coming at 8:04. Cudia and Del Bell will lose the assists. Cruncher still short of forward, so they've been juggling lines around a bit. Still no Spencer Kirsten. Right circle face-off. Kirsten has the only goal of the game for the Crunch. Clean win by Mercury. A shot is tipped wide left. Rebound up the left wall. Petronero spikes it around to the right. It's Mitchell. This puck deflected up out of play. Seems to hobble Luca Pinelli a bit. He was the one who got in the way of that attempt by Ian Mitchell. Winner of this game will take a 2-1 series lead and will force the losing side to the brink of elimination. It will be a potential elimination game on Sunday, 3 p.m. here in Syracuse. Hope you join us. Playoff tickets available at SyracuseCrunch.com/playoffs. Another win by Mercury, right point Ian Mitchell. He flips the puck down low behind the net. Mercury gets checked by Gaunce. Mercury stays with it, now comes in behind the net. Left wing for Petronero. He waits, feeds. Tough pass, taken back by Peltier. Peltier shoots to the net, tipped, and a save. Rebound ends up behind the goal. Who's going to get it back in front? They score! Nick Abruzzese has tied the game at 2. 5:45 to go in the second period, and we're back to a level footing. While the Crunch worked hard down low behind the net, they won a battle down behind the goal. Jacob Peltier found Nick Abruzzese, and he snaps it home past the left arm of Sawchenko, and the game is all tied once again, 2-2. That's a huge goal by the Crunch. Couple of big face-off wins by Lucas Mercury, and finally, he's breakthrough once again. Though Peltier gets his second point of the night, Lucas Mercury should get an assist as well. It would be his second point of the night. And it's a 2-2 tie. 5:40 now left in the second period. This puck deflects up into the seats and lands in the fourth row, right down below us. Nick Abruzzese on the board with his first of this postseason. And the Crunch of the Monsters are tied 2-2. 5:37 to go in our second period on ESPN Radio. Hey fans, stop at Tony's Good Times Restaurants and check out the great selection, including pasta, seafood, salads, burgers, deli sandwiches, and homemade desserts. There's something for everyone, and don't forget about those tenders. Tony's Good Times, some of the best chicken tenders on earth. 2-2 tie, Crunch of the Monsters. Tonight is one of those very rare nights where the Crunch have been better 5-on-5 than when they've been on the power play. They really have controlled play at 5-on-5 for the most part. Power play, though, has not gone in their favor. They've been kind of scrambling every time they've been on the man advantage. But we're tied at 2, and the Crunch break the puck out. Lead pass. Here comes Cooper Flint, and joined by Matthew Pekka. Gets denied on the blue line. It's thrown into the offensive zone by Max Grosjev. 5:20 to go in the second period. The Monsters take the puck and look to break it out left to right. Kuhlman's diagonal feed. It's tipped it over the line by Pudia. Far side, Santini. Near side for Grosjev. Up the near wall, Belbelouz takes it away. Flips it down low for Pudia. Rims it around to the right point, Kuhlman's. Whips it across off the left wall. Taken by Svozil. Chopped it down low. Pudia and Santini were battling down beneath the goal line. Crunch take the puck, and Allard races to center ice. Over the red line, turns and zips it in. Hard around to the left wall, the Crunch in the midst of a change. Flinton pressuring on Kuhlman's. Puck in behind the Cleveland goal. Svozil sends it back to the near side, and Kuhlman's works it to center. Tipped through the neutral zone by Pudia. Crunch had it, and it gets deflected away. Here comes Hunter McCown. Stood up by Gauthier. Taken back and tap free by Sturtz. Tenori far side for Tommy Miller. Turns it up the far boards. It's deflected ahead by Dylan Duke. Here comes Sturtz in pursuit. Sawchenko plays it. Backhands it around to the near corner. Knocking it free was Gauthier. Sturtz pass got blocked. Gauthier, nice feed. Miller walks and shoots. Save made by Sawchenko with the glove. And he holds on with 4:18 to go. And now another post-whistle scrum forming right near the crease. Sturtz in there initially. Svozil and he get pried apart. Couple of checks there battling. And a face-off will be in the offensive zone for the Crunch. We'll see if Well, the Monsters will change, so will the Crunch. Good news is that Spencer Kirsten is back and hopping over the boards. So he'll get out here with Reese Newkirk and Noah Steen. See how Kirsten looks. He's missed the last 5-6 minutes or so, at least. Face off in the right circle of the offensive zone. Newkirk on the draw. And he wins it. Steen rolls it back, right point Miller. Holmes, bigger partner was Mercury on the faceoff. Now he changes for Newkirk. Puck out of the near side, Fashing. Puck is taken and moved to the line. Newkirk keeps it in. Knocked free by Richard. Played by Steen. He cuts his way toward the left corner. Helped out by Newkirk. Winning the puck, though, was Hudson Fashing. Puck bouncing to the blue line. It's out of the zone. Tenori gets upended by Pearson. Kirsten turns it back in for the Crunch. Under 4 minutes to go in the second period. The game tied at 2 here in Game 3. Crunch of the Monsters. Puck to the far boards. Jack Williams. Checked by Newkirk. Now on the puck and pursuing was Nick Abrazizi. Crunch changing on the fly here. Puck in the offensive zone. A couple of bodies slipping down to the ice as the Monsters get to center ice. A lead pass tipped in by Justin Pearson. Tracks it down to the left wing corner. Then he blows a tire as he tried to cut back in the corner. Crunch take the puck. Newkirk slugs it up the wall, but it's a bad turnover by the Crunch. Here's Aston Reese. Feeds across the ice. Goes up in the air. The Crunch now get it safely to center ice. Newkirk is going to look for a change. He hops off as the puck comes to the near side for Brendan Gaunce. Backhands it back into the left wing corner. Luca Pinelli grabs the puck and turns. Up to the left point, now to the right point. Morelli feeds toward the slot. It gets deflected away off the stick of Pinelli. He was pressured by Ian Mitchell. The Crunch lift this one up and out to center ice. Noah Steen's been out here a while. He's calling for a change. Now he'll turn off the ice as the Monsters counter up ahead. Pinelli in, shoots. Save mate Halverson, and he snatches the puck up in the air and gets a whistle. Got it with his blocker. He tracked it up in the air and quickly hopped up to snag it. With 2:46 to go in our second period. A face-off in the defensive zone for the Crunch. And the Halvey chance raining down here in Syracuse. One of the all-time great Crunch goaltenders. Over the last couple of years, he has risen the ranks. And a good right arm save there. 2:46 to go in the second period. Face off in the right wing circle in the offensive zone for the Monsters. Del Bell Blues with Pudia and Sillinger. 2-2 tie. Matthew Pekka will take the face-off for the Crunch. And it's a nice win by Del Bell Blues. Right point, Svozil walks and shoots. Halverson makes the save, swallows it up and gets another stoppage with 2:41 to go in our second period. Do it again between Del Bell Blues and Pekka at the right dot. And this time the Crunch win it. Grosjean passes right wing for Jacob Peltier, races to center ice and throws it into the offensive zone. Peltier with Flinton and Pekka at the moment as Flinton lands a check in the left corner. Peltier trying to pry it free. Comes in behind the goal. Now in the near corner. Pass up the near wall. Pinching down Grosjean. Cleveland maintains possession. Far side pass, Pudia will chip it to center ice. Gets checked by Pekka. Santini takes the puck and fires it in. Hard around, it goes off the glass and out of play in the netting. 2:12 to go in our second period. Tie game 2-2. Shots are 22-16 Crunch. Both teams have scored in this period. This is, funnily enough, the first period of the entire series where both teams have scored a goal. Saw in game 1, Cleveland scored in the first period. The Crunch scored in the second and the third. It was the inverse in game 2. The Crunch scored in the first period. Cleveland scored in the second and only the third. No one scored in the second period. As the Crunch get a steal in the offensive zone. Crunch had the only goal in the first period. Now both teams finally scoring here in the second period. Puck is kept in by the Crunch along the left wall. Now popped free. Hunter McCown drags it out. Lead pass, Roman Ashad. Goes out wide left wing, plays it down low into the offensive zone. Rimmed around to the near side by Sturtz. Chopped out to center ice by Dylan Duke. 1:45 to go in the second period. The game tied 2-2. Pass gets disrupted by Ethan Gauthier. Cleveland takes possession. Hunter McCown bounces it to center ice. Roman Ashad directs it in. Gets hammered by Jared Tenori. Tommy Miller has the puck. Parks in behind the Crunch goal. 90 seconds to play in their second frame. Miller waiting in the trapezoid, looking to break it out now for the Crunch. Starts ahead slowly, passes far side for Tenori. Tenori will make a feed that gets knocked away. And it comes back and over the crunch line. Look out, here comes Jack Williams on a counter. Williams going to the net. Oh, a hard collision to the crease. Williams is down in the blue paint. Halverson was strong on his skates. The play continues in the near corner. Now Pearson rolls it out to the front. Knocked away by the crunch. And here comes Lucas Mercury up ahead. Mercury scoops it in. Bouncing it into the left wing corner. Mercury is there. Pulls it on the backhand of the far corner. Steen drills it around to the left wall for Petronero. Mateo flips it back in behind the goal again. Off the stick of Steen. Mercury tracks it down the right corner. Rims it back around to the near side. Petronero was getting tangled up by Pearson. He got away from that, kept it in. Feeds it down low. Ricochets off a stick. And Williams takes the puck. Under pressure, Mercury picks his pocket. Puck is tied up along the right wall. Under a minute to go, 30 seconds left. Mercury has the puck. Filters it left wing for Petronero. Bouncing puck, he takes control. Left point, Abruzzese. Feeds to the right for Peltier at the right half wall. Now curls to the top of the circle. High in the zone. Drops it for Mitchell. Mitchell steps. Weaves out wide. Mitchell down low. Centers it. Ricochets wide. Tracks it down with 15 seconds to play in the period. Mitchell back across. Peltier with room. He shoots it. Got blocked. Huge block by Pearson on a great chance for Peltier. One last chance for the crunch. Do they have time? They get it over the line, but that will do it for the frame. Boy, that was a long shift for that Monsters trio, and Justin Pearson with an elite block in the final 10 seconds of the period. So a funky frame ends deadlocked at 2. The Monsters had a goal 8 seconds into the period on what was a, again, very fortuitous Cleveland bounce on what appeared to be a missed whistle on a puck that was out of play off the opening faceoff. It hit the netting. It was not whistled down, and it ended up in the back of the crunch goal 8 seconds into the frame. Cleveland then took the lead after a run of successful penalty kills. They got a goal at even strength to take the 2-1 lead. First time all series they've had a lead change. Crunch came back and tied it on a goal from Nick Abruzzese. And so we'll enter the third period in a tied series. A game apiece. The score is tied 2-2. Third period should be great. That comes up in just a bit. Time now for our second intermission. Here's Eddie McCarthy.
Thanks, Lucas. Well, thank goodness for Nick Abruzzese. That was a huge goal pretty late in that second period, because remember, before that Abruzzese goal, the Crunch have had 5 power plays in this game. The Monsters have not arguably have had the better of play shorthanded, and we even heard a few boos starting to rain down from this crowd. Lucas described it well. They were getting restless, but just a huge goal by Nick Abruzzese. You could feel the Crunch grab some of that momentum and take it with them the final 5 minutes or so of that second period. Couple of good chances. Just could not solve Zach Sawchenko, who's turning in another fine game for the Cleveland Monsters. Shots through 2 periods are 22-16 in the Crunch's favor. Syracuse had the 13-10 advantage in shots on goal in that period. Shots presented by Nave Law Firm. So goal scorers so far, it was 1-0 after the first period with the goal by Spencer Kirsten, who we did not see after about the 5 minutes into the second period mark. He took a hit after the play in the high slot in the offensive zone, went down the tunnel and did not return to the bench. Abruzzise's got the other goal for Syracuse. Riley Bezos scored on that very strange goal 8 seconds into the second period, and Richard has the other goal for the Monsters. So a 2-2 tie after 40 minutes of play sets up a very interesting third period, but we've got a whole second period intermission report to get to before we get to the third. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll do some highlights. We'll talk about that second period after 40 minutes of play. The Crunch 2, the Monsters 2, and the series tied at 1-1 here in Game 3 of this North Division semifinal. This is the Calder Cup playoffs on ESPN Radio. Kirsten apparently returned. My bad, Lucas. I kept looking for him to come back. What's up?
What did you say, Coach what?
Just turn. I'll turn you on if I'm not.
What were you apologizing?
Oh, I said Kirsten missed the rest of the period. Apparently, he had one shift at the end. I didn't see him come back. All right, I'll get through these highlights quick. We'll go to break, and then you and I will have the whole second segment.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So highlights and then another commercial.
Highlights, commercial, and then hopefully we'll get 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna rip through these pretty fast.
It's actually more common than I think. I don't know. Like I know a couple other guys that did that as well.
Back here at Upstate Medical University Arena for our second period intermission report. We had 3 goals in our second period, 2 by the Monsters, 1 by the Crunch. In a 2-2 game after 40 minutes, Eddie McCarthy rejoining you. We had our first lead change of the series in that second period. We'll get to that in just a second, but on a very funny bounce and a questionable call to say the least, it was the Monsters who scored first and tied the game just 8 seconds into period 2. Yeah, it looked like the puck was out of play on the near side corner netting, but the officials got together, decided that nobody saw the puck go out of play, and Bezo, who played the puck across the goal mouth, it went off Cooper Flint's stick and into the net. Crunch then got a couple of power plays, which we have said multiple times did not go very well, and then just about 8 minutes after tying the game, Richard gave the Monsters the lead. Yeah, that was the point of the game where you thought it might be in danger of getting away from the Crunch because they had not played well on the power play, and the Monsters took their first lead and then had some good chances after that, but credit Brandon Halverson for making some good saves. Then with 5:45 to go in the second period, on a seemingly innocuous enough play, Nick Abrazizi capitalized and tied the game at 2. Yeah, from behind the icing line, Peltier got the puck out to Abrazizi, and Sawchenko lost his positioning just for a moment. And Abrazizi was able to jam it glove side and in. Kirsten and Abrazizi are the goal scorers. Peltier and Mercury have assisted on both of the Crunch goals. So back-to-back multi-point games for Peltier and Mercury. And a 2-2 game after the second period. We'll take a break here in our second period intermission report. When we come back, Gino Antamarino will join us here from Upstate Medical University Arena. We'll chat about the second and get You're ready for the third. Alt side up at 2 here in Game 3. Crunch and the Monsters after 2 periods. You're listening to the Calder Cup playoffs on ESPN Radio. So what do you and 20 minutes ago on home ice?
That's absolutely right, Eddie, and I can only imagine what Coach Bouchard is saying right now in the locker room. I would have to think that he's telling his guys it's basically 0-0, right? You've got 20 minutes left to play, and you got to go out there and leave it all out there in front of the home crowd, right? So this is the first playoff home game. You can tell the fans are really into it. It's a loud atmosphere, and the Crunch are really feeding off of that. One thing that I've noticed through the first 2 periods is the physicality. The player that's impressed me the most is Lucas Mercury. 2 assists today, but he's getting the job done along the boards. He's getting right into that grimy area, Eddie, and that's what is causing those turnovers by the Monsters, and that's freeing up pucks and allowing pucks to get in front of the net for those goals for the Crunch.
Yeah, he's been a really nice piece on the top line. Remember, Mitchell Chafee out of the lineup. Connor Geeky called up to the Tampa Bay Lightning, so it's Mercury and Abrazizi complementing Peltier on that top line, and to your point, both Mercury and Peltier have 2 points. And you mentioned coach's conversation in the locker room. The Monsters took 2 penalties in the first, 3 in the second. That tells us they're probably going to take another one. But the glaring issue has been the power play, and you'd hope that they can figure something out to be a little more productive when they're a man up.
Absolutely. The thing that I've noticed is the extra passing, and we've talked about this at length here during this game. It just seems like the Crunch right now, they're not really settling in off the rush, and they're causing too many passes, and that's what's allowing the Monsters to either intercept those passes or it's just one too many and it's all from the outside. There's not a ton of great scoring chances. So what the Crunch need to do is they they need to start looking for quantity over quality. Obviously, always look for the best shot, but when you're on the man advantage, especially in the playoffs, put the puck on net, crash for a rebound. The goal by Abruzzese was just a turnover from behind the net, a pass out in front, and a bang-bang play. That's allowed the Crunch to be so good this year. So causing those turnovers, causing that havoc, and putting pucks on the cage, that's what power play really needs to focus on.
Well, we see it every year. Never as much room on the ice in playoff hockey as in the regular season. So even on the power play, the goals aren't necessarily going to be pretty. They're going to be greasy and sometimes downright ugly.
Absolutely. And 0 for 5, you got to do anything you can to get at least something going on that power play. But it starts with the face-off, and if you can't get that opening face-off, right, then you got to really rely on the rush and setting things up on the fly. And right now, the Crunch, they've done an okay job at settling things down, but right now they're passing a little bit too much, Eddie. We talked about this.
Well, we've got a period to go, 2-2 games. Somebody's got a chance. Whoever scores the next goal has a chance to be the hero tonight. I know you mentioned you like Mercury's game.
Yeah.
If there's somebody else you're looking out for on the Crunch you think could turn that third goal in?
Do I go for the obvious pick and go Peltier just because he's been the hero so many times this year? But I'm either going him or Mercury. I think Mercury's been fantastic.
That top line has been very good. Peltier and Mercury both have a couple of points. Thanks, Gino. We'll talk to you later. We know you're doing post game with Coach, and 2-2 game here after the second period. Crunch and the Monsters. Third period action coming up with Lucas Favale after our break. All tied into as we head to the third period. This is Crunch Hockey in the Calder Cup playoffs on ESPN Radio.
Getting set for our third period, brought to you by Woodford Brothers. Do you have a wet basement, crack foundation, or cold crawl space? Professional waterproofing is crucial to preventing water from infiltrating your home. Right now is the best time of the year to solve your problems. Call Woodford Brothers today and preserve and protect your home's value. The first time all series, Game tied after a period. It's 2-2 entering the third. Game number 3, series tied at a win apiece. Crunch for the opening faceoff, moving from left to right in the third. A lead pass is deflected near the blue line. It's onside for Ethan Gauthier. Swings it into the right wing corner for Gabriel Sturz. Sturz gets it to the left corner for Dylan Duke. Bobble the puck, it comes to the near side. Duke tracks it back down at the right half wall. The hashes, gets bumped by Corson Kuhlmans, forced off the puck. Monsters take control. Opening minute of the third, tied at 2. As the Monsters look to clear, Riley Bizzo, who's scored 8 seconds into the second period, weaves to center, backhands it over the Crunch line. Taken by Syracuse. Couple of gloves pawing the puck down. One for the Crunch, one for the Monsters. Eventually comes out, then dumped back in by Cleveland. Slowed up by Halverson. He plays it in behind the net for Tenorti. The far wall to center ice. And Cleveland gets control. Sillinger back in the D zone for Dyson Mayo. Mayo to the near side for Sillinger. Up through center. He drops it off for Del Bell Blues. Look out, he's got room and shoots. Right arm save made by Halverson. It goes up out of play. Del Bell Blues, as he typically is, has been very dangerous tonight. Anytime he's had the puck, he's been crafty, he's been slippery, he's been hard to check. And he's created a couple of big-time opportunities. He has an assist in this game. That was the goal that gave Cleveland its first lead today off the rush. Secondary helper. The goal from Guillaume Richard. Del Bell Blues against Lucas Mercury at this near faceoff dot. Mercury gets waved down. And it'll be Jacob Peltier in for the faceoff. And it's one back by Del Bell Blues. Sillinger pressured, and the puck is cleared to center by the Crunch. Dyson Mayo back on it. This puck is deflected high off the glass, taken by Jacob Peltier. Back in the D zone for Stephen Santini now. Near side, Nick Abrazizi deflected it, but it was knocked down by Richard. Turned back ahead. Cleveland has it at its own blue line. Far side for Pudia. Pulls it back in his own zone. Cross ice to the near side for Dyson Mayo. Up the left wall for Richard. Finds Sillinger. Monsters 3-on-3. They gain the line. Cross ice, Del Bell Blues. He's got space. Dribbles the puck into the corner. There's Grosjev. He gets double teamed. Muscled off by Del Bell Blues. Puck to the right point. Here's Dyson Mayo. Left wing pass. Richard. He shoots. Save made by Halverson. Great save with a catching glove that time by Halvey. Richard, who already has a goal from that left circle. This time, Halverson able to push across. And Richard waited long enough. Halverson able to stay strong as he tried to shoot it back across the grain. So face-off will be at the left circle with the offensive zone for the Monsters. And off his face-off, Cleveland controls. Will Butcher centers. It gets deflected. It settles top of the crease. Cleared out of there by Flinton. Still with his zone. Buck to the left point. Now it's flubbed by Luca Pinelli. The Crunch break it out. Flinton with Allard and Matthew Pekka. Fired in by the Crunch. Deflected. Gloved down by Pekka down the right boards. He skates his way to the right corner. Veteran forward. Has it knocked away. Zach Aston-Reese, another veteran. Now it's stolen back by Flinton, a rookie. Up to Pekka, right point Mitchell. Long shot got swallowed up in front by Butcher. He shoots it ahead down the ice. Potential icing waved off as it didn't quite get to the icing line before the players are getting there. The puck up the far wall now. Poked at by Petronero. Now Allard whips it cross ice. Behind Pekka, taken by the Monsters. 2:20 gone in the third. We're tied at 2. Syracuse changing. The Crunch are indeed shorter forward again. Spencer Kirsten, who did get a shift after he left in that second period, does not appear to have come out for the third as the Monsters go up ahead. So for the second game in a row, the Crunch might be shorter forward in the third period. Game 2, they lost Mitchell Chafee in the second period. And here in game 3, no Spencer Kirsten, at least to start the third period for the Crunch. As Reese Newkirk busts to center ice, left wing, out wide. He turns back, Svozil walls him off and checks his head right into the glass. Puck along the left boards. Ethan Gauthier battling for it. He gets control. Left point, here's Tenorti. Right wing for Miller. Off his stick, he settles it down and shoots for a tip. They score! A redirect by Ethan Gauthier, and it's 3-2 Crunch. 3:06 into the third period. And the Crunch retake the lead. A hard work by the fourth line down the left wing side. And Gauthier getting a shift with Newkirk And with steam, those two, Newkirk and Gauthier, won the battle. They got it up to the line, and Miller took the shot. Gauthier with a terrific deflection. And the Crunch have retaken the lead. It's 3-2. So Ethan Gauthier gets his first career Calder Cup playoffs goal, and the Crunch are back in front. Huge goal early in the third period. They would have faced off at center and shoot it back in. In the right wing corner now, Jacob Peltier digs it free. Right point, Miller. Duke's wide open in front. A shot tipped wide left by Duke. Got too much on that deflection. Puck squirts out of their zone. Look out, maybe a 2-on-1 for the Monsters. They count over the line. Hunter McCown, right circle. He pulls. Knocked away by Miller. Comes back to McCown. Turns up high in the zone. Hunter McCown. Forced to the blue line by Tommy Miller, but he stays out of it. Gave it away. It's a 2-on-1 with Dylan Duke and Jacob Peltier. Duke right circle, holds, feeds down low through the legs of Peltier. A missed opportunity by the Crunch, and it's cleared. To the near side for Santini. Now it's Groshev up ahead. 4 minutes gone in the third period. Here comes Cooper Flinton back in. Drops it for Pekka. Gets it across the ice. It got knocked away. 3-2 Crunch in the third. Banged up the near wall. Kept by Flinton. Knocked free by Hunter McCown. Trying to clear. Flinton gloves it down. Flinton steps. He holds and shoots. Maybe getting a piece of it with Sawchenko with the outstretched stick. Right point Santini. He passes to Pekka right wing. Curls high in his zone. His shot tipped just wide by a line. Flinton wraparound save. Rebound is loose. Pekka flings it wide left. Bigger part, it was Groshev who flung it wide left. Up the wall, the Crunch swarming now with a 1-goal lead in the third. Here is Allard. He scoops it into the right wing corner. That allows the Crunch to change. Pekka stays out there on his own 1-on-5. Now it's Nick Abruzzese. Hammers it around to the right. Crunch complete that change. Here's Mitchell right blue line. Zips it back around to the left for Matteo Petronero. And again reverses to the right. Mitchell gets hammered by McCown. He gets double teamed now. Trying to slide it. It's grabbed by Will Butcher. Listen to this crowd. The Crunch with a lead here in the third period as Lucas Mercury gets the puck in front of the bench. He gets bumps, stays on it, and it's knocked away by Del Bel Balouz. 5 minutes into the third, 3-2 Crunch. The pass tipped in by Mercury. It skips toward the crease. Settled down by Sawchenko. Monsters have the puck. Whip cross ice to Brendan Gaunce. Out of the zone, left wing. Pass up the middle. Grabbed by Jared Tenorti for the Crunch. Throws it up the far wall, but it's kept alive by Gaunce. Off the skate. Knocked in front. Here's Luca Pinelli. Drops it back into the middle of the ice. Nice stick. Collision to the crease. And the puck to the line is turned to center ice by Peltier. Grabbed by Sturtz. Nice move through the neutral zone. Then he throws a errant feed in the middle of the ice, which is intercepted by the Monsters. 5:45 into the third. The Crunch 3. The Monsters 2. What has been a great game so far tonight. Back and forth action. He passed to center, knocked it over the Crunch line. Tommy Miller retreating back in his near corner now. Slammed by Pinelli. Double teamed with Gaunce in there as well. Now the Crunch getting numbers advantage down in their own zone. Gabriel Sturtz, far side for Dylan Duke. Turns back around, finds Tommy Miller. And feeds to center ice. It was deflected. Comes right to Dyson Mayo at the Cleveland blue line. Near side for Richard. Turns it ahead. Knocked away by a good stick of Santini. Here comes Duke. He's got Abruzzese cutting. Feeds cross ice. Off the left wall for Nick Abruzzese. Send it back around to the right. Up to the right point, Santini. He's got Groshev straight on. Groshev winds and shoots. That one goes wide left off of body, two bodies. Abruzzese and Williams were tangled up. Abruzzese slow to get up. Right point, Santini. His shot is caught by Sawchenko. And a tackle down behind the goal. Abruzzese is in some discomfort as he hobbles toward the Crunch bench. 13:24 to go in the third. The playoffs are not for the light of height. He goes to the Crunch bench. You hope he's all right. Crunch already short of forward, but they have the lead once again. It's 3-2 here in the third period on ESPN Radio. 13:24 left in the third. Nick Abrazizi trying his hardest to shake off that discomfort that he had at the end of that shift. The whole time he was flexing his leg, and now he'll hover at the end of the bench with Alex Maring, Crunch trainer. We'll keep an eye on that. As the Crunch have an offensive zone face-off with a 3-2 lead here in the third period. 13:24 left. And Ethan Gauthier, the tie-breaking goal, his first AHL playoff goal. Right circle face-off, Mercury against Williams. Crunch, as we said, already short of forward without Spencer Kirsten. So Gauthier was taking that shift with Newkirk and Steen and got the goal. Now it's Mercury with Newkirk and Steen. This puck is cleared down the ice. Crunch take control. The Monsters bench now up in arms. They were looking for a penalty call. Did not come. The Monsters have only had one power play. It has been lopsided in that department in this game. 5-1 Crunch on the power plays in this game number 3. Crunch 0 for 5. It's a 3-2 Crunch lead, though, here in the third period. 7 minutes in. Puck in the defensive Crunch zone. Cleveland gets a steal. Fashing, trying to get it down low. Gets knocked away. Peltier leaning on Williams. And the puck ends up behind the Crunch net. Left wing pass, Aston Reese up to the left point. Morelli spikes it down behind the goal. And now Peltier gets toppled by Hudson Fashing. Puck is played by Ian Mitchell. Knocked down by a Monster who's going to get control here. 12:35 left in this third period. A pass from his knees up to the right point by Fashing. Held. Then back across. Fashing has space. Shoots it toward the net. It got blocked. There's a rebound. Backhand save. Another chance. Pat stopped by Halverson. Comes back up high for Morelli now. Trying to turn it down low, and does. Good shift for the Monsters. Crunch stuck in their own zone. Centering feed got knocked away. Crunch need a clear here. Reese Newkirk. He backhands it up the wall and went off the referee. Comes to Steen. He gets it out and rolls it softly over the Cleveland line. Cleveland, though, quickly countering. Here comes Del Belbaluz right back in a scramble change for the Crunch. A shot fought off by Halverson. There's a loose glove and a stick in the Crunch zone. I think it's a Cleveland glove, although it's hard to tell. They're black and the Crunch have blue gloves. The puck to the near side, back to the left point. Here's Del Belbaluz, back for Pudia, shot blocked by Allard. The stick now right in the crease for Brandon Halverson. The Crunch trying to clear. They don't get it out yet. It comes to Matthew Pekka, finally gets it ahead. Pekka needs to get this all the way down the ice. He does chop it over the blue line. Svozil will twist it back to center ice though. 11:35 to go in the third. 3-on-3 through center. Pudia, and over the line, he dangles to his right. Groshev defending, chips it down low, knocked away by the Crunch. Pekka takes possession for Syracuse. He gets it in the right corner. Now in behind, Stephen Santini corrals. And Santini passes to Allard, angles it to center ice. Picked up by Flinton, who's been another strong game for the Crunch. He spins right circle. He's got traffic in front. A shot tipped. And the puck in the crease. Covered by Sawchenko. Well, Sawchenko seemingly has an extra force field on these scrambled plays in the crease. He's got help from posts. He's got help from defensemen's sticks in this series. And the Crunch have been so close on some of these, and have not been able to get it past him. They do, though, have the 3-2 lead with 11:10 left to the third. On the goal for Ethan Gauthier. Gauthier had 25 playoff goals in the Q. He had more than a point per game in his career in the QMJHL playoffs. Great 4-year one. Of course, won the Q 1 year. He's not a player who's unfamiliar to big games. Played in the World Junior Championships, did Ethan Gauthier. There's a reason why he was a second-round pick for the Lightning a couple of years ago. Right circle faceoff. 11:10 left in the third period. And off the faceoff, the Monsters win it in their own zone and try to clear. It comes to the line, and Roman Ashon gets it out. Gloved ahead by Tommy Miller. That is a hand pass, and this faceoff will come into Syracuse territory with 11:02 left in the third period. Well, if you're not here tonight, you're missing out. You can be here on Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Crunch of the Monsters, Game 4. An elimination game potential for one of these teams. Whoever prevails here in this game will be one win away from the division finals. Tickets available right now, SyracuseCrunch.com/playoffs. Get here for Sunday's 3 p.m. puck drop. Should be a great game. This has been a great game tonight. Still tons of hockey left. 11 minutes to go in the third. Monsters control a shot. Got blocked. Rebound. Score. It was a rebound chance, and it's hammered in. And the Monsters tie the game. Richard gets his second of the night. And Cleveland has pulled even once again. So Guillaume Richard on a puck that bounced right to his stick. Drills it home, and it's 3-3. With 10:56 to go in the third period. So second goal tonight for Richard. And Cleveland has pulled even for the second time. Well, so a shot from Dyson Mayo. It just bounced right to, I mean, the bounces in this series for the Monsters have been outrageous. They've all seemingly gone Cleveland's way. And that's a great bounce right to Richard, who swats it home. Well, the Crunch, who have really been pushing since taking the lead, trying to extend the advantage, have not been able to do so. Now the Monsters have pulled level once again. It's 3-3. 9 minutes into our third period. Crunch with a faceoff at center ice. They lose the puck, though, in their own zone. Here is Luca Pinelli. Pinelli spinning. Big shift after a goal. The Crunch get a steal. Comes Dylan Duke, who's had a couple of odd man chances here since the Crunch took the lead. He comes in over the right wing line now. Gets the puck to the right corner. Backhands it around to the far boards. Roman Ashana is there to take control. And he leads the breakout for Luca Pinelli. Gains the line left wing. Pinelli spins. It gets knocked away. Intercepted by Dylan Duke. Duke will slow it up. Finds Matteo Petronero. Near pass now, tipped it over the line by Gabriel Sturz. 3-3 game, nearly halfway through the third period. A pass from Sturz gets intercepted in the slot. Sturz got toppled, and the puck is lifted down the ice. Skipping puck, Jared Tenorti will slow it up in Syracuse territory, then starts to skate ahead all the way to center ice. Hammers it around the roulette wheel. To the near side, the right point, Tommy Miller waits and feeds it down low for Nick Abrazizi. Turns, sets a Peltier, a shot is drilled wide. Oh, you couldn't have set up a better chance. And he just missed the net. Puck in behind the goal for Coolmans. Pressured by Peltier. Justin Pearson gets walloped by Mercury. The puck is cleared down the ice. Miller gets it to center. Abrazizi finds Tenorti. Near pass to Peltier. Did he get a piece of it? No, it's an icing against the Crunch. 9:34 to go in the third. Man, oh man, what a setup. Abrazizi to Peltier, trying to return the favor after Peltier set up Abrazizi back in the second period. That one, though, did not go. So we're all tied at 3. Richard second for Mayo and Del Bel Belluz. So Del Bel Belluz has a couple of points here in this game. And teams continue to trade blows halfway through the third. Left circle face-off. The warning against Lucas Mercury after the icing against the Crunch. Del Bel Belluz wins the face-off. Left point. Here's Dyson Mayo. Walks to the middle. Swings it back for Pudia. Long shot through traffic. It didn't get through. The rebound, though, pried free by Richard. Back to Pudia. His shot goes wide. There's a rebound. Chopped across. Taken by Abrazizi. Finds Lucas Mercury. Skates to center. All the way to the red line. He angles it into the offensive zone. Mercury in pursuit. Gets a stick out in the right corner. Tommy Miller slows it up. 2-on-2 in the right corner. Miller, who set up the go-ahead goal for the Crunch. His third point of the series. He gets checked along the near wall. Good work by the Crunch, keeping it alive in the offensive zone for now. 9 minutes to go in the third. We're tied 3-3. Fans moaning and glowing. It's a 3-on-2 battle favoring the Monsters. The puck not moving much. Referee just watching this. Nothing is happening right now. And finally, the fans had already lost their patience, and now the referee does as well. He whistles it down with 8:45 to go in the third. Crunch 3, Monsters 3. Game number 3. North Division semifinals to take a break on ESPN Radio. Third period brought to you by Woodford Brothers. You have settling floors, wall cracks, or bowling basement walls. These problems don't get better with time. A small foundation issue can turn into a big nightmare that can affect your home safety and decreases resale value. Woodford's patented solutions are designed to handle all types of foundation failures. Call Woodford Brothers today and preserve and protect your home's value. Tie game 3-3. Crunch of the Monsters, 8:45 to go in the third. Both teams had leads in this game. Crunch scored early in the third to take a 3-2 lead. The Monsters answering a few minutes ago. We're deadlocked once more. Cleveland controls off the D-zone faceoff, and it's Riley Bezo who accelerates to center. He flips it into the offensive zone. Zach Aston Reese dribbles it in behind the net. Swatting at it, Gauthier. Now Mitchell up the far wall. Duke cutting across. Left down by Morelli. Tracks it down and zips it behind the goal. Off the backboards, here's Ian Mitchell for the crunch. He clears to center ice. Butcher bobbles it, taken back by Duke. Finds Sturtz, gains the line. Sturtz drops it, Gauthier shoots. That one goes high. Puck to the left point, Petronero. Spikes it back around to the right for Mitchell. Mitchell whips it cross ice for Sturtz. Sturtz shoots, and it's fought off and covered by Sawchenko. Gauthier getting in there, getting now shoved by Bezo. Sturtz comes after Bezo, and the officials will hop in with 8:05 to go. In the third period, the game tied 3-3. By the way, quick check at some of the scores. First in the National Hockey League tonight, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens. In Game 6, 0-0 still, nearly halfway through the third period. Obviously, Crunch fans are keeping a keen eye on that one. The Lightning trailing that series 3-2. That's a must-win for them. In the AHL playoffs, Toronto has scored 4 straight. They lead the Laval Rocket 4-2. That is Game 2 of their division semifinal series. The winner of that series faces the winner of this series in the North Division Finals. Springfield leading Providence 3-1. That is late in the third period. Top team in the league, Providence. The only team that gave them trouble all year is Springfield. And they're stuck with them in the division semis of the Atlantic. Punch with the face-off in the offensive zone, Tenorti. Throws it down low behind the net for Noah Steen. Left corner, Steen. Left circle now, juggling puck. It's knocked free. And the Monsters turn it up ice. Justin Pearson gains the line. Tommy Miller fends him off. The puck rolling into the near corner. Pearson lands a check on him in the near corner. 2-on-2 battle now for control. Comes to Nick Abrazizi. Feeds the middle for Reese Newkirk. Gets to center ice. Gets leaned on. Try to dump it in and one off, of course, in Coolmans. Steen knocks it away. Gets checked up high by Coolmans. Spins around along the left wall. Battles for control. It squirts free. Knocked down by Matthew Pekka. Slipped back to the line. It comes out of the zone. Grosjev goes rink wide to the near side for Santini. Hammers it back in. Delayed offside is White. Puck to the left wing side. Allard in pursuit against Butia. Taken back by Richard, who's got a pair of goals in the game. He dumps it down the ice, and an icing is the call with 7:13 left in the third period. And a D-zone faceoff coming up for the Monsters. Well, this has no doubt been the most compelling game so far this series. Both games 1 and 2 had great moments, but both teams had, in game 1 it was Cleveland who opened a 3-0 lead, and in game 2 was the Crunch who had a 4-0 lead. Neither team has had more than a 1-goal advantage here in game 3. Crunch with a face-off. Santini with a shot fought off by Sawchenko. Pekka going to the bench to get a new stick as it broke on the shot, off the face-off. Another shot from Santini is caught by Sawchenko. Well, Santini looking for his first goal of the season. Would be a great time for it if he could snipe one home there. It was a clean face-off win despite the broken stick by Pekka. And Santini took the shot, just barely getting a piece of it with Sawchenko. So 7:06 left in the third. A face-off of the right wing circle in the offensive zone for the Crunch. Crunch had leads in this game of 1-0 and 3-2. Cleveland had a 2-1 lead. Mercury at the right circle. We were due for a game like this. Clean win by Mercury. Peltier left wing, Petronero. A shot is caught by Sawchenko. And another face-off on the way. Richard and Mercury now jamming at each other. Officials separate those two, and then they continue the conversation. This time a face-off will be at the left wing circle in the offensive zone for the Crunch. 7:01 left in the third. Roman Ashan is skating his way from the ice to the bench, as Mercury will take the left face-off against Jack Williams. And now Mercury gets the heave-ho. So Jacob Peltier will take his place. Peltier versus Williams. Cleveland wins the face-off. And they loop it to center ice. Knocked it over the line by Zach Aston Reese. He and Petronero converge. Puck sent to the left wing blue line. Kept alive by Richard. Gauntz bangs it behind the net. Far side, Mercury gets checked by Richard. Mercury's helmet pops off. He's going to have to either put it back on or go for a change. He elects to put it back on, or at least try to, as the Crunch send this down for an icing. At 6:37 to go in the third, so D-zone faceoff for the Crunch. Faceoffs have been a factor in this series. Cleveland in the first two games really did a good job on the faceoffs. They controlled the faceoff dot. They scored in Game 2 their only goal directly off a faceoff win. They have a goal off a faceoff here in Game 3 as well. Del Bell Ballou's left faceoff. He wins it again. Left point, Will Butcher. Feeds to the right, Luca Morelli. Whiffs on a shot. Peltier tries to clear. Morelli kept it nicely. Ends up in the corner for Lucas Mercury. Now tipped in behind, near side for Ian Mitchell. Spikes it around to the near wall. Butcher keeps it. It comes to the middle of the ice, and Mercury will skate to center ice. He gets dragged down by Pudia. Crunch starting a partial change as the Monsters counter. Near wing, Del Bell Ballou's knocked away from him. Sillinger, though, gains it the line briefly, then turned it over to Matthew Pekka. Turns it back in the D zone for Petronero. Goes up the far wing for Cooper Flinton. Skates back at his own blue line. Now for Ian Mitchell with 6 minutes remaining in a 3-3 game here in Game 3. Lead pass deflected in by Flinton. To the right wing corner. Luca Morelli backhands near side Butcher. Chips it free. Taken by the Monsters. Del Bell Ballou's will scoop it out. Knocked down by Justin Pearson. Turned ahead by Groshev. It's kicked free by Morelli. Taken by Pekka. Morelli got checked by Flinton at the Cleveland bench. Groshev looks to his right, skates to his left, and then scoops it ahead. It's gloved down though by Hudson Fasching at a counterattack. Over the line, Pearson feeds right wing. A shot tipped away by Halverson. Great save. Rebound, another stop. Now Svozil into the middle of the ice. Knocked away as it was Pearson who had a look high in the zone. And the Crunch get it out to center ice. Nasty turnover by the Crunch, turned into a dangerous flurry for the Monsters. Fired back in deep by Cleveland. Far side Sturtz. Now it's Groshev. He gave it away again. Another wraparound attempt. This time Fasching. Backhand caught by Halverson. Oh, man. Sloppy sequence for the Crunch. Multiple turnovers, and Halverson bails out the Crunch. 5:11 to go in the third. We're tied at 3. What a finish. Potentially on the way. We'll take a break on ESPN Radio. Tied at 3, Crunch and the Monsters in Game 3. The series tied at 1 win apiece. It's a best-of-5 series. Winner tonight will be 1 win away from advancing. Teams will play again on Sunday at 3 p.m. So this is a critical 5 minutes of this third period still to be played. Almost in that next goal wins territory. Left circle offense zone face-off. And this one is won back by the Crunch in their own zone. Spun around to the left point, held by Svozil. Right point, Coolmans winds and shoots high and wide off the glass. Rebound taken by Mitchell off the near glass for Allard. He spins and clears for Matthew Pekka. Pekka scoots over the line. Right wing for Cooper Flinton. Chips it down low behind the net. Pekka pokes it away from Coolmans. Left wing, Allard. Back down low, Pekka bounced away from his stick. Comes to Sillinger. Sillinger into the near corner, finds Svozil. 3-3 game, 4:40 to go in the third. And the Monsters clear to center. Sillinger joined by Del Bell Ballou's. He leads him in over the line. All the way to the left wing corner now. The dump in. Near side pass, Pekka. Into the middle for Flinton. He juggles it and clears it. Knocked free back over the Crunch line. Skipping puck to Mitchell. Takes control. He'll swing back in the far circle. Teams changing. Crunch and the Monsters tied at 3 with 4:20 to go in the third period. A pass knocked away by Guillaume Richard, who's got a pair of goals in this game for the Monsters. A lead pass now tipped in by Sturtz. Duke pursues. Dyson Mayo is there. Gets leaned down by Dylan Duke in the left corner. Cleveland has possession. Luca Pinelli Weaving out from right to left. Breakout pass right wing for Richard. That's knocked away. Duke and Mayo were still tangled up well behind the play. And the Monsters now dump it to center ice. Duke knocks it down out of the air. Sturtz will skate ahead and flip it in. He gets checked near the bench. Goes for a change. Here's Dylan Duke with a steal. Gauthier supporting. Comes up the wall. Gauthier trying to cut out toward the middle. Nice stick by Brendan Gaunce. Monsters take it and scoop it up to center ice. Tommy Miller directs it back ahead. Duke for Lucas Mercury. Fires it in off the near glass. Sent around to the left wing for Nick Abrazizi. Turns up the wall. Comes back to the point. Peltier with a blast. It got blocked by Richard. Off his arm. A puck to the middle. Gets knocked away and it's clear to center ice. 3:20 to go in the third period. Wholesale change for the Monsters. Santini turns it over at center. It's thrown in by Bizzo. In behind the net for Halverson. Near side for Santini. Santini's pass comes to Nick Abrazizi. At his own blue line, he twists back under pressure now. Will tap it back for Santini. Oh, and then the puck is flipped up out of play. An unforced error by the Crunch. And with 3:05 to go in the third period, a delay of game and a power play for the Monsters. Crunch had there really was no reason to go backward in that scenario. They went backward, a puck flipped up on edge, and it was flipped up out of play, and a delay of game penalty with 3:05 to go in the third puts Cleveland on the power play in a 3-3 game. It's just an unforced error by the Crunch. I'll see if they can get through this now. Special teams tonight has been the factor favoring the Monsters. Their penalty kill has been a perfect 5 for 5. It's their first power play since the opening 2 minutes of the game. Left circle faceoff. Del Bell Blues against Pekka. 3:05 left in the third. The Monsters win the faceoff. Luca Morelli slings it into the left wing corner. It comes off the stick of Del Bell Blues. Gets it free up the left wall for Jack Williams. Up to the point for Morelli. Passes to the right. One-timer deflected away off the body of Ian Mitchell. Monsters win the puck battle. Sent around to the right wing for Pudia. Mikhail Pudia into the right wing corner. Walled off by Mitchell. Pekka tries to clear. His stick gets knocked free. Here comes Williams. Williams has space. Cross ice. Pudia. Top of the right circle now. He steps. He's got room and shoots. Off the skate of Tenorti in front. Del Bell Blues back to the right point. Here's Morelli again. Walks in, feeds for Pudia. 1:20 to go on the power play. Del Bell Blues. Back for Williams. A shot got blocked and cleared. Down the ice it goes. With 2:20 to go in the third period. 1:10 left of this power play for the Monsters, who are tied at 3. Here is Morelli. Spins it back for Del Bell Blues. Right to left. Cutting his way to the offensive zone. Pass got knocked out to center ice. A minute to go on the power play. Brendan Gaunce throws it back ahead into open space. Pudia tries to track it down. Grosjev got there. Here's Peltier. Spirals it ahead of the left point. Held by Morelli. Keeps it alive for the Monsters. Pass across to the right wing for Williams. Jack Williams has space. Now passes down the wall for Del Bell Blues. 40 to go on the power play. Down to the goal line. Pudia back for Del Bell Blues. A shot blocked. He gets his own rebound. Pudia back to the right point for Morelli. Walks the line. Passes to the right. 30 to go on the power play. Down to the right goal line again for Del Bell Blues. Back up high, Morelli. Shoots, save, and a rebound got away from Gaunce. Now he picks it up off the left wall. Back in behind the net for Del Bell Blues. 20 to go on the power play. Back for Morelli. He's got space. Across to Williams. Down to the final 15 of the power play. Left wing Pudia. Cross ice pass for Del Bell Blues. 1:15 left in the third. We're tied at 3. Late in the power play for the Monsters. Pudia shoots. Save made by Halverson. The Crunch need to clear. Comes to Peltier. And he gets it up to the line and out. Santini's out of the box. Crunch survive. The Monsters still have the puck. Both teams changing now. Minute to go in the third. We're tied at 3. Svozil has the puck. And passes left wing for Sillinger. Sillinger rips it into the offensive zone. Hard around to the far boards. Taken by Kuhlman's. A shot got blocked. Bounced right back to him with 45 to go in the third. 3-3 tie between the Crunch of the Monsters. Here's Justin Pearson. Stays strong on the puck. He spins left wing against Tenorti. Circles back around. Passes right wing. Kuhlman's under his stick and out of his zone and down. Hook race coming. Here comes Ethan Gauthier. Gauthier gets in. He shoots. Save. Rebound kick back in front. And it's stopped by Sawchenko. Another bouncing puck into the crease that somehow stays out. Gauthier gets punched through the face. Oh man, with 23.7 seconds to go. Great rush up the ice by Gauthier. He beat Kuhlman's to the puck. Sawchenko made the save. It came off the leg of Svozil back into Sawchenko and stayed out. With 23.7 seconds to go in the third period. Deadlock 3-3. Series tied 1-1. Offensive zone faceoff for the Crunch. Lucas Mercury, Jacob Peltier, Nick Abrazizi. And Mercury wins the faceoff. Peltier gets upended though by Riley Bezo, and Bezo gets it clear. That's a big play by Bezo. He leaned on Peltier just enough. Down into Syracuse territory, here's Matteo Petronero. Spins it around to the neutral zone. Richard dumps it back in. 10 seconds to play the third. Petronero tries to clear. Bezo knocks it down. Crunch get control. Final 3 seconds. And for the first time of this series, it is overtime between the Crunch and the Monsters here in Syracuse. So, we will have an overtime intermission coming up here. 15 minutes on the intermission clock in the arena. We'll come back with full 5-on-5 hockey for as long as it takes to get a goal scored in this game. Well, the last time the Crunch were in a series that was tied 1-1 at a game 3 in this building against Rochester, it went to overtime. It went to double overtime, in fact, before Walter Morella scored the double overtime winner for the Crunch to give Syracuse a 2-1 series lead. That was 2 years ago in the North Division semifinals. See how long it takes tonight. Crunch, a team that did not play much overtime in the regular season. Obviously, you can throw out the overtime statistics. Those overtime games in the regular season do not at all look like overtime in the playoffs. The Crunch overall in the regular season won 3 games, lost 7 when games went to overtime. The Monsters, they were very familiar with overtime games. And 13 wins in overtime and shootouts, 9 losses past regulation this year. So 22 overtime games played for them. We'll see what happens. Overtime coming up in just a bit. With our overtime intermission, though, here's Eddie McCarthy.
Well, that's the first one of these we've had this year. Overtime intermission report, 3-3 game Crunch of the Monsters. Lucas mentioned it that this has been the most compelling game of the series. Absolutely true. It's been a terrific game tonight. It's also, I think, been the best game of the series in terms of we've seen some really high-level hockey tonight. These are 2 really, really good teams. 2 very evenly matched teams that do a lot of the same things very well. And it's been really enjoyable for us to watch them go at it for 60 minutes, and they're going to go at it for a little bit longer as we'll go to overtime tonight. Here in Game 3 of this series, the winner will be able to clinch the series on Sunday in Game 4. 3-3 game after 60 minutes. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll go over the highlights from the third period. Heading to overtime here in Game 3. You're listening to Crunch Hockey on ESPN Radio. We are tied 3-3 at the end of regulation. Our overtime intermission report. First time we've been able to say that this year. Eddie McCarthy rejoining you from Upstate Medical University Arena. Crunch and the Monsters tied at 3 at the end of regulation. We've got another 11 minutes or so before the overtime puck drop. We had 2 goals in that third period, 1 by each team, and 3 minutes into the game, Ethan Gauthier, who's had into the period rather, Ethan Gauthier, who's had a really strong game tonight, had a great chance to try and break the tie at the end of regulation. He put himself in the right spot at the right time and put himself in perfect position to deflect home a shot to make it 3-2 Syracuse. Really good shift by a fourth line that was just kind of slapped together by Joe Bouchard. Remember, no Spencer Kirsten in that third period, so the Crunch down to 11 forwards, and unless there's a new development there, they will probably play with 11 in the overtime. So Gauthier getting a shift with Flinton and Newkirk on the fourth line, and those three put together a really nice shift and a great deflection in the high slot by Gauthier. Then less than a minute later, the Crunch had a great chance to go up by 2. 2-on-1, you wouldn't rather have any other 2 players than Peltier and Duke on the 2-on-1, but unfortunately those 2 guys couldn't even get a shot off. And then 6 minutes later, Guillaume Richard, who has been quite the thorn in the Crunch's side here in Game 3, potted his second goal of the night and tied it at 3-3. Well, that whole sequence started because of a Tommy Miller hand pass, which normally, when you get called for a hand pass, it's usually going to a neutral face-off, but because of where the puck was when the play was blown dead, they put the face-off in the defensive zone for the Crunch. Monsters won the draw, and a point shot followed by a rebound, and Richard tied it at 3, and we'll bring in Gino Antamarino again because the last 10 minutes or so, the Crunch and the Monsters went back and forth, but the real defining moment for me in that third period, that penalty kill, Santini the delay of game penalty with 3 minutes left, and give the Crunch penalty kill and their best penalty killer in Brandon Halverson for a really solid job on the PK.
Yeah, I thought the Crunch had a really strong start to this third period, and they looked solid. And then that kind of, like you said, that penalty there by Santini, it's just one of those things where it's, you lost the handle a little bit and it just goes over the boards. But, yeah, you got to give credit to the Crunch PK and Halverson. But you also, obviously, a lot of Crunch fans listening here tonight, but you got to tip your cap a little bit to the Monsters because 5 penalties through the first 2. We talked about at the second intermission. You said it, it's bound to have another penalty if
right,
you're the Monsters.
Shows what I know.
And no penalties for them in the third period. So a great way for them to kind of turn things around, resettle, and say, listen, we got to go out there and we have to play discipline and we got to get bodies in front, and that's exactly what led to the Richard second goal.
Yep, we have had 7 power play opportunities tonight between the 2 teams, 5 for Syracuse, 2 for Cleveland. Teams are a combined 0 for 7. All right, so we start overtime, and towards the end of that third period, we had no shortage of chances, very end-to-end. Both teams got some good looks. Would you expect things to settle down a little bit as we start overtime, or do you expect it to stay at kind of the same pace?
I think this is going to be a similarly paced overtime. I think it's going to depend on this opening shift, right? And I think that's going to dictate the rest of how this extra period is going to be played. If you're going to start out with your top line in Mercury, Peltier, and Abruzzese, then I think that it's going to be hot, it's going to be fast, it's going to be aggressive, and it's going to be physical, and that's going to set the principle for the rest of the overtime. Now, if Bouchard is telling his guys right now for the Crunch, listen, we got to go out, let's settle things down, let's calm down. We're in front of the home crowd. It's overtime. Whoever scores this goal is going to have a big-time victory in the series. We got to just make sure we're playing our game and not going a little bit too trigger-happy on these shots. So it's going to depend on this opening shift, right, Eddie? And I think that's going to dictate the rest of how the overtime period goes.
And I think it's going to be interesting, too, to see how Joe Bouchard handles the bench. How much does he shorten the bench? Because a lot of times we see in overtime, the fourth-line guys may barely touch the ice.
Sure.
But tonight, I mean, starting with the Kirsten goal, Reese Newkirk's played well, Super Flinton. They've gotten some of their most quality minutes out of their fourth-liners tonight.
And that's so important, especially in the postseason, when you can roll 4 lines and you can get that generation of offense and defense from any one of your forwards. That is so huge, and it's pivotal because it's not just going to dictate a game, it can dictate a series, Eddie.
Well, it's no question whoever wins tonight is in the driver's seat for this series, with Game 4 coming up on Sunday. Whoever wins will be in a position to win the series in Game 4. And we brought this up before we went to break, and I think you were running back up from your spot,
literally
getting ready to interview
running here, Eddie,
for post-game. But Lucas said it earlier that for a lot of reasons, this has been the best game of the series, but I think the biggest one is because we're seeing 2 really good teams who are playing pretty good hockey tonight. And this has been some very high-level play that we've seen all night long.
Yeah, it's been a seesaw, and it seems like anytime the momentum has swung in the favor of one team, the other team's right there to take it right back. And that's what made it such an entertaining game, whether it's a scrap, whether it's a hit, whether it's a goal, whether it's a nice shot or a big save. Any one of those little things can change the swing of how things are going for either team. So that's the postseason, that's playoff hockey, and that's the way that this overtime period is going to go. But if you're the Crunch, you got to make sure you're cutting down on those turnovers, right? Pucks in deep. You don't want any turnovers in the neutral zone, no turnovers in the defensive zone especially, and you want to make sure you're getting pucks deep and setting up things, but also being aggressive. Don't be on your heels, but again, like I said, don't be too trigger happy. Anything that you kind of noticed there, Eddie, going into this overtime?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is going to be how are the Crunch going to manage being down a forward? They're going to be down to 17 players, 11 forwards, 6 defensemen. So the longer the overtime goes, the more their legs are going to get tired. At least that would be what I would think.
Sure, absolutely. I think the home crowd, though, will certainly give some life and energy as the speakers come roaring to life. We're about 3.5 minutes away from puck drop for overtime. So I think this is going to be a nice job to reset in the locker room. You come out, you got your legs underneath them, and you got the home crowd behind your back. I'm really looking forward to this overtime period, Eddie.
And overtime will be dropping. We'll drop the puck on overtime in a little over 3 minutes. Lucas Favali will have your call. 3-3 after 3. Overtime coming up here on ESPN Radio.
All right, overtime approaching, tie 3-3. Game 3, North Division semifinals crunch of the Monsters. Series tied at a win apiece. First playoff overtime game for the Crunch in 2 years. They played 3 straight in 2024, games 2, 3, and 4 of the division semifinals against Rochester. Teams play 1 overtime game in the regular season. Again, it doesn't matter because it's not the same format. It's 3-on-3 in the regular season. This is 5-on-5. Luca Pinelli had the overtime winner in that game, though, for the Monsters. It came late in the 5-minute overtime period. Teams will flip ends. We will have 20 minutes on the clock. Monsters will go from left to right. The Crunch from right to left. Winner tonight will take a 2-1 series lead into a potential closeout game on Sunday afternoon here in Syracuse. Monsters had 10 overtime wins in the regular season, led by Jack Williams, who had 4 overtime goals. Luca Pinelli had 2, including the one against the Crunch. And we are ready to go. Del Bell Blues against Pekka to start overtime. Crunch have Pekka, Allard, and Flinton with Santini and Grosjev. Crunch with the faceoff. Stephen Santini shoots it in. Very different approach to overtime in the playoffs versus the regular season when it's 3-on-3 and frenetic. Monsters loop this one out to center ice. To the near side, it's poked near the Crunch blue line. Pudia against Grosjev. Grosjev scoots it back into the offensive zone. It's back to center ice now and zipped in by Matthew Pekka. And behind the Cleveland net, opening minute of overtime in Game 3. The Monsters have the puck. It's Svozil left to right. Right wing pass to Corson Kuhlman's game-winning goal in Game 1. It was a first period tally. Puck is kicked in behind the Crunch net. Swatted around to the right wing side. Pudia steals. Right wing Del Bell Blues a couple of points here tonight. Shot from Mayo is caught by Halverson. Rolls on. 44 seconds into overtime, and the game tied at 3. Regulation goal scorers. Crunch got goals from Spencer Kirsten, Nick Abrazizi, and Ethan Gauthier. A goal in each period for the Crunch. Cleveland was down by 1 after the first, got 2 goals in the second. Riley Bizot and Guillaume Richard. Then Richard tied the game again in the third period at 9:04 after the Crunch had taken the lead. He's got 2 goals in this game. Right circle face-off. Here's Williams against Sturz. Sturz got credited with the game-winning goal in Game 2. And the face-off is won, then chopped down the ice. Off his stick, so no icing. Down into Cleveland territory. Duke against Richard. Richard backhands near side Mayo. Flings it up the wall, and it's clear to center ice by Williams. Here comes Justin Pearson. Drives down the right wing against Tenorti. Gets it out in front. A shot. Point-blank save by Halverson. Great chance for the Monsters. A minute into overtime, and Halverson with a tough early save. Nice move by Pearson down the right wing, and he made a pass in front of the net. Strong save by Halverson. A minute gone in OT. That's a tough chance early for the Monsters. A good save by Halverson. He's got a face-off coming up at the near dot now to his left. Del Bell Blues has been very good on the face-offs of this game. Opposed by Matthew Pekka. Pekka wins it. Taken by Grosjev. He scoops it up in the air, and it comes to center ice. Grabbed by Pekka. Right to left, gains the line. He works it down low to the right wing corner. Luca Morelli knocks it free. Comes up the far wall, and Cleveland breaks it out. Knocked away by Grosjev, right to Del Bell Blues. Grosjev sticks with it, though, and pries it loose. Flinton for Pekka, one-on-one. Pekka shoots, blocked away by Will Butcher. Left wing Pekka, trying to spike it around behind the net. It got knocked away. Now he ties it up with Butcher, squirted free, and the Monsters weave it out of the zone. Although it came to the line, it was knocked free by Allard. Stayed in the zone briefly. Monsters have control. The Crunch calling for a change. 1:40 gone in the overtime, brought to you by NBT Bank. Look out, this puck is deflected into the Cleveland bench. And Stefan Mattel had to dive out of the way. 1:43 into overtime. And we're tied at 3, Crunch of the Monsters. I hope you had a enjoyable night so far. Stress levels high here in the building. And probably for you watching or listening at home tonight as well. Lucas Savani with you for Game 3 tonight. 3-3 is the score here in overtime. Monsters win the faceoff. Right wing Kuhlman's shoots it into the offensive zone. It scales around to the far boards. Under the stick of Nick Abrazizi. Roman a shot up to the left point. A long shot goes wide. And a rebound to the right wing side for Kuhlman's. Bumped by Peltier. Kuhlman's gets it down behind the net for Zach Aston Reese. Centers in front. Knocked away by Abrazizi. Up ahead for Jacob Peltier. Peltier stick handles and gave it away at the blue line. Puck is lifted out to center ice by the Monsters, eluding a couple of sticks and knocked back to center by Ian Mitchell. Crunch finally get possession of the puck. It comes off the stick of Mitchell. They'll slow it down behind the goal. 2:20 gone in the third, I beg your pardon, in overtime. And we're tied at 3. Mitchell waiting in the trapezoid. Crunch have Steen, Gauthier, and Sturtz. Mitchell right to left. Near pass Gauthier. Zips it in. Dyson Mayo blows it tire defensively for the Monsters. Crunch get a piece of the puck. Cleveland has control though. Luca Pinelli lift this one up and out, down off the shelf and down for an icing. An icing against the Monsters brings an offensive zone faceoff for the Crunch. Shy of 3 minutes into overtime. The Crunch will make a change. Now comes Pekka, Flinton, and Allard for their third shift already of overtime. Boy, Cooper Flinton has been getting valuable, significant minutes here in Game 3. And he's played a really solid game. Pekka will take the left circle faceoff in the offensive zone against Del Bell Blues. Flinton to his left, Allard to his right. And it's one back. Here's a shot from Santini that goes high off the glass. Pinelli got a piece of it. Puck played down low by Santini as those two jousted for the puck. Pekka reaching for it. It comes to Del Bell Blues. Feeds the middle of the ice. Guillaume Richard will swat it up to the line, and it comes off a body out of the zone. Taken back by Groshev. Dribbles it into his own zone for Cooper Flinton, the lone man back. Up ahead, Pekka right wing. He'll scoop it in. Caught by Sawchenko. Fakes a pass and then leaves it there for Luca Pinelli as the Crunch have completed most of a change at least. Here comes Pinelli up the ice. Flinton is still out there. It's scooped ahead. Knocked down. It comes back to Pinelli. Pinelli rolls it along the left wall. Hudson Fashing the first man on it. He gets shouldered by Tommy Miller. Knocks it loose. Poked up the boards. Sturtz is there to take possession and skate to center ice. Try to poke it into the offensive zone. It's turned back though by the Monsters. Down into Syracuse territory. Halverson swings it near side Tenorti. Tenorti will play it up to the line. Morelli kept it in. Now comes to Fashing. He turns. He's got space left wing. Stutter step against Miller. Miller leans on him in the left corner. Now he gets it tied up with his skate. Nearly 4 minutes gone in overtime. We're tied at 3. Crunch the Monsters in Game 3. Battle for possession in Cleveland's offensive zone. It is knocked free. Tenorti slides it in the middle, and the Crunch can break it out. Here comes Dylan Duke with Ethan Gauthier. Duke cuts up the middle, gains the line. Crunch's leading goal scorer in the regular season. Down low, Gauthier. Bad pass in the middle of the ice is intercepted by Jack Williams. And Williams leads the rush. Gets lined up by Mercury. Hard check by Mercury right at the benches. Puck comes free. Williams sticks with it and slides it back into the offensive zone down the left wing. What an effort by Jack Williams, who got stood up by Lucas Mercury. Puck down low for Petronero. Gets double teamed, but chips it ahead for Ian Mitchell. Now for Mercury. Mercury with Gauthier and Duke right now. Dropped it back for Mitchell. Now Pearson tries to take Mercury into the Cleveland bench. Crunch shoot it in. Played by Sawchenko. 4:45 in overtime. We are tied 3-3. Monsters to center. Pudia bumps it in. Santini spikes it around hard to the far boards for Lucas Mercury. Off his skate, then off his stick, he settles it down. Plays it behind for Groshev, taps for Santini under pressure. Near side, here is Jacob Peltier. Peltier bangs it to the blue line and out, just under the stick of Nick Abrazizi. Monsters have it back. Owen Sillinger, far boards. Mercury forces a steal. Here's Abrazizi. He gets it down low. Peltier threw it to the back post. No one was there. Now Mercury shoots it high. He thought Mercury was going to be there. Mercury was hobbled a bit. He was going to the bench. Puck is played by the Monsters. Oh, what a chance off the steal by Lucas Mercury. And now the Monsters clear, but it's knocked down by Abrazizi. Big stick in the neutral zone. Whips it right wing for Pekka. He's got space over the line. Right circle, a shot, kick, save by Sawchenko. There was a juicy rebound. Crunch scrambling for a change. Legally done. Now it's thrown in deep by Syracuse. Oh, man, great chances for the Crunch. 3-3 game, 5:45 in overtime. Monsters have it back now and slowed up behind their net. Sposel passes up the middle. Gauntz taps it to the near side for Riley Bizzo. He had a big goal to start the second period. 8 seconds into the second period, which tied the game at 1. Kind of changed the complexion of this game a bit. Puck in the left wing corner of the offensive zone. Bizzo pressuring. Pekka kicks it free. Up for a wide. He hustles to center ice. Drops it back off for Pekka. There comes Pekka. Gains the line. He turns and rolls it in behind the net. Sawchenko. Nice play to slow it up. Near side for Dyson Mayo. Breakout pass. It's Roman Ashawn. Ashawn, that's offside. And a whistle stops play. Took a late shot. And it gets a slash by Allard. Ashawn has words for Tristan Allard. 13:36 to go in this overtime. And the game, all square at 3. Crunch have had some very good scoring chances. Monsters had that great look in the opening minute or so. They've only credited the Crunch with 1 shot on goal, but they had some really good chances at the net. Sturtz against Williams. Sturtz wins it in the neutral zone. Tenorti, right wing for Miller. Miller all the way to the red line and fires it in. Around to the near glass. Poked at by Dylan Duke against Morelli. Popped up in the air, settles in the trapezoid. The Monsters have the puck. Jack Williams looking ahead. He's got Hudson Fasching busting ahead. He fed it to him. He tipped it in over the line. Jared Tenorti there to knock it free. He had it loose, then chopped it around to the near side. The Monsters are on it though first. There's a puck to the middle as Halverson lost his goal stick. It's knocked away, and Tommy Miller leads the rush of the Crunch. Miller over the line, left wing. He swings back high in the zone. Now backhands it down to the left wing corner. Duke in behind for Flinton. Chops it up the right wall for Mercury. Trying to get it to the front. Got knocked away. Flinton ties it up. It comes into his skates. Good work. Hard on his skates by Flinton, and he gets it back down low behind the net. Flinton will change. Right, Flinton is playing one of the best games he's played in his career. It seems like he's been so involved. Dylan Duke will go for a change, and the Monsters will scoop it up and out. This one is settled down by Stephen Santini. Cleveland completing a change of its own. Puck is ricocheted in over the Cleveland line. Peltier pursues right corner. They try to jam it behind the net. It got tied up by 2 Monsters. Mercury forces a steal right wall. Trying to force it down low. Gaunt's strong on it there. Gets into his pants. Got a quick whistle and then a pop free with 12:20 left in overtime. This game all tied at 3. You know, we've said it a bunch. This is a pivotal swing game potentially. Whoever wins tonight will take a 2-1 series lead and have a chance to close out this series in 2 days. Game 4 takes place at 3 p.m. here in Syracuse. So next goal is critical in this series. Right circle face-off in the offensive zone for the Crunch. Matthew Pekka against Gauntz. Gauntz wins the face-off defensively. The Monsters clear. Slowed up at center by Ian Mitchell. Finds Matthew Pekka. Back it over the line. Nice back check, though, by Gauntz. He forced it away and gets it down the ice. Here's Matteo Petronero. Throws it off the near glass. Body down by Corson Coolmans. Back ahead, Zach Aston-Reese. Up ahead for Gauntz. Gauntz with room. A shot is tipped away by Ian Mitchell. Near side corner, Zach Aston-Reese. Back around to the left wall for Gauntz. Taps it down low behind the net for Zach Aston-Reese. Centering feed out in front. A save made by Halverson. Gauntz had the chance. Left wing disposal at the line now. Toward the net, it got blocked. Pekka takes the puck. Gets shouldered by Aston-Reese. Monsters keep it, a shot blocked. Crunch under pressure here. Ian Mitchell has it knocked away. Crunch looking for a clear. Now he spins back and has space. A lead pass to Noah Steen. Steen in his first career AHL playoff game. Wrestling in the left wing corner now. Jostling for possession. Oh, he got punched up high, right in the way of the referee, and he just swallowed the whistle. And he's going to the bench holding his face. He might be cut. He got punched right in the mouth. How you don't call that, I don't know. He's bleeding. He's cut. I cannot believe they didn't call that. Puck in behind to the near side. It's kick free. Taken by the Monsters. Up the near glass. Pudia has control. Sets up Dyson Mayo. Mayo feeds for Del Bel Belouz. And it's tapped ahead by Flinton. He gets it out. Here comes the rush to the Crunch. Allard drops it off to a trailing Groshev. It's in his skates. They try to roll it down low. Another opportunity off a rush of the Crunch. And they could not convert. Now the Monsters to center ice. In a 3-3 game, here's Del Bel Belouz. He stick handles into the right wing, drops it off. Beauty into the net blocked. Rebound left wing pass. An opportunity, a shot blocked. Huge block by Peltier. Monsters keep it in right wing. At the right half wall, Del Bel Belouz down low. Tip, what a save on Sillinger by Halverson. Monsters swarming now. The puck around to the near wall. Mikhail Pudia, pressure, got it away from Flinton. Back down low again, it's loose. Knocked away, the Crunch under all sorts of pressure. They need to clear. Peltier takes the puck and lifts it out. Missed out to center ice, though not all the way down the ice, but they can at least collect their breath for a moment as Mercury changes for Pekka. Puck is sent ahead, though. It's a potential breakaway. Fasching in, shoots it wide. Rebounded behind the net, wrap around, they score. It went off of Petronero and in, and the Monsters win Game 3 in overtime. 4-3 is the final score. Well, it was a breakaway for Hudson Fasching. He'll get credit for the goal. He shot it wide right, picked up the loose puck behind the net, and try to wrap it home, but he banked it off of Matteo Petronero at another horrendous bounce for the Crunch. And Cleveland comes in and wins game 3, 4-3. Monsters win it on the road and take a 2-1 series lead. So, the Crunch, I mean, what a game this was. But they cannot buy a bounce as Hudson Fasching wraps it in off the skate of Matteo Petronero and in. So, I mean, you just think about the bounces that the Monsters have gotten in their 2 victories in this series. And they've got 2 more tonight that have ended up in the back of the net. And Hudson Fasching gets the overtime winner. The Monsters win it, and they take a 2-1 series lead. Now a win away from the division finals for them. And the Crunch are going to have to rebound, have to collect themselves, and try to save their season on Sunday at 3 p.m. for game number 4 of the division semifinals. Fasching the overtime winner. Cleveland takes game 3 by a final score of 3-2. The standing line for tonight's 3 stars of the game. Spencer Kirsten, who left injured in this game, is announced as the number 3 star. Ethan Gauthier is the number 2 star. And obviously wants no business of being announced as a star. He comes out and tosses a shirt into the seats. And Hudson Fasching is your number 1 star of the game, the overtime winner for him. He comes out on the ice as the overtime hero. A guy who's only played a couple of AHL playoff games in his career. They've all been against the Crunch. Last time was in the division semis with Rochester many moons ago. He gets the overtime winner tonight. He and Zach Sawchenko, probably the 2 best stars for the Monsters here tonight. And Cleveland gets the road win. Yeah, no road wins in the first 5 games of this season and postseason series. Now back-to-back wins on the road. Crunch in game 2, Monsters in game 3. Cleveland leads the series 2-1. So the Crunch must win 2 straight games. They have to win, though, on Sunday. That is the first order of business, 3 p.m. here in Syracuse. Final score in overtime, the Monsters 4 and the Crunch 3. For all of us at the Syracuse Crunch, I'm Lucas Havali saying so long for now. It's time for the postgame show. Here's Eddie McCarthy.
All right.